all right. What is going on? There we go. Switched too early there for a sec. I hope everybody's doing well. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey Tony, what's going on? Let's funk and go on YouTube. Um, what's up? How you doing, brother? I had a question. What do you think about post fly boxes? Have you heard anything about their material quality? They're a Thailand-based manufacturer. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, most material, other than certain hackles and bucktails and whatnot, are all gonna be made. Not all, but a good amount are gonna be made overseas that you get nowadays. Certain materials, like I think possibly Bill's Body Brain and some other stuff, but I'm sure a lot of it's manufactured overseas and then shipped here and sold in the U.S. But yeah, I haven't done much. I haven't looked much into Postfly or their boxes or anything like that, personally. So I'm not. I mean, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. Maybe you could try it out or whatever. But what is it, like a subscription-based service or something, right? I think you're probably just better off, you know, picking up some new material every once in a while and then just trying it. But if it's reasonable price and you want to try it, you know what I mean? But yeah, the subscription based stuff, I try to stick away from. Like manscaping or whatever. Uh I got for my beard and it works great. And they were like trying to get me hooked on like this buy blades or something. And I did it once and I was like, I'm not gonna need blades for like 3 years. I feel like this thing's fine. I have a box of blades. And they were gonna send me blades like every 3 months. I'm like, whoa, 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 slow it down. Let me cancel that. I had Postfly for a bit, Craggerroll says on Twitch, but the quality dropped after the owner sold it. But then supposedly he bought it back and tried to fix it, so I don't know. I'd get my own stuff. All right, well, there's somebody from in the chat that, had tried it and then decided not to keep using it. So I don't know if that helps you in your decision, possibly, Tony, but what's the price on it? I'd say you just pick up some materials. Pick up a couple bucktails, couple synthetics, or maybe pick up some new materials every time. Give yourself a little budget. You know what I mean? And then try some new stuff out if you really wanted to go about it like that. Yeah, $30 a month, that seems pretty steep. You know what I mean? If you got a bunch of stuff, it's one thing, and if it was like useful, but I feel like you might end up getting stuff that, you use for one fly and then you throw it in a box somewhere or something, but I don't know. But personally, I'm not big on the subscription based like products or something like that, you know what I mean? Yo, what's going on, Cozy? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing good. It was the ease of the patterns and the materials. Yeah. It'd be cool if you could like just get it for 1 month, maybe if you saw a box that you liked or something like that. I got it, a lot of stuff I didn't use. Yeah. If it's like the boxes that they normally build are right up your alley, then maybe, that would be perfect, but you know what I mean? But it might be cool to try out some stuff, but you might end up having a lot of excess material that's just kind of sitting around. So, by the way, it is Friday Fly giveaway night. It's the last Friday of the month. I need to ship out last month's giveaway, which was Doc and somebody else. I have it written down. And what do you call it? So this month, so I was trying to figure out how we're going to do it for YouTube. And I can't really incorporate it in a certain way because of Twitch. But so what we're going to do is, this Twitch's rules and all that, we're still going to do our marble race on Twitch. I'm still debating. Maybe I'll leave it up to you folks on Twitch. I was going to just use Nightbot and you folks could type join as subs. And then we'll just randomly pick a subscriber on Twitch. The same for the members on YouTube or the regulars on YouTube as well, because I can pick. And then on Twitch we'll have the one marble race as well for just for everybody watching, because we've been doing it forever. It's like a tradition at this point. So there's technically 3 giveaways or whatever. But we could also just do the marble race for the subs, because that is pretty fun. I know people like doing that instead of just having it from Nightbot, for instance. Because essentially it's the same thing, but it's less exciting. You know what I mean? You're typing join, but Nightbot just randomly picks a sub as opposed to doing like the marble race. So I was like, there's no real difference of doing it. So maybe we just do the marble race on Twitch as well. The only reason we can't do it on YouTube is A, I technically probably can't stream it, and B, what do you call it? There's no third party integration for it. So that's what I'm thinking. I was like, oh yeah, we'll just pick a sub from Twitch, but I was like, I guess we might as well, because you have to type join in the chat. We might as well just do the marble race as well. So, but we do have one for for you folks on YouTube that have been watching and whatnot. I'll just randomly pick someone via Nightbot at the end of the stream. So, in fact, I could. What do you call it? I could just have it set up, I guess. We'll figure it out. We'll wait a little bit. But I do have Nightbot on YouTube now as well for I'll set up commands and stuff like that. So, but anyways, we're gonna be tying some flies tonight, some for striped bass and false albacore. We've been tying a lot of surf candies and bait fish flies and stuff like that. So we're going to continue the trend for some fall time-ish summertime flies. There's a lot of bait fish around right now, a lot of terns and stuff working all over the flats and in the bay. Bluefish, striped bass on them, and at any point Spanish mackerel, then the baby bonito, and then the false albacore will show up here locally. So we're only about a month, maybe a month and a half away from pelagics showing up inshore with the albies, the bonitos, and the Spanish mackerels or whatever. So we'll keep whipping up some cool bait fish imitations. I had a lot of fun doing the easy body flies last time, and we might even do some more because this is really. So in case you missed it, where's my favorite one we did? Was it the bluish? Yeah, probably this one. We essentially tied a bucktail deceiver with multiple collars, sparsely tied of different colors as well, starting from light moving up to dark, and then put the easy body over it and glued over that with flex resin. And it came out really well. I really like this fly. It's not as sparse and stuff, but I think in the water this is going to look really nice. And it's probably going to work pretty good. So I do like these as opposed to just like and I still love the traditional surf candy, for instance. This is the classic. This is like my go-to fall time fly, right? But this thing, here's an olive one. It just looks really cool. I really like the look of it. So it's pretty interesting. I don't know, something different. And as opposed to just tying a surf candy normally with just a collar in the top and bottom in the front and putting the easy body, we kind of did like a bucktail deceiver, very sparsely tied, right? So it adds, I don't know, there's like a different profile to the fly in general as opposed to just being like compressed down one collar. So, all right. Let's see. I have some size 2 and 1 odds. Let's go with some size 2s. We will tie some smaller ones. Now, what can we do that's different? We'll probably work with the UV resin for a couple flies, and then I don't know, maybe we'll break out the hot glue gun. It's been a while. We could go for some Albi hose. You know what I mean? It's been a while since we've done that. That could be fun. Yeah, so in fact, I got to figure out like what would be the best way to do it for the folks on the tube, for the tubers with the Nightbot at the end. Maybe we'll just do it at the end or something like that. So that's probably what we'll do. But yeah, so does that sound, I mean, for any subs watching, I know AR's probably stepped away or something, but Cozy, Craggerroll, I mean, there's no difference other than it's we have the visual aspect of the marbles, right? So I think we'll just do the marble race for the subscribers as well. So that means the marble race is up right now, by the way. So which one are we gonna do first? Let's do the follower one first. what do you call it? Let's see, pull it up. There we go. Let's do the follower. So we'll have this is set up right now. It's going to be open for half of the stream. So as long as you're a follower on Twitch, you just got to type !play. All right, your marbles put in, and then there's a marble race. The first marble land in the pit's going to win some flies. And then we'll do the subscriber one after that. So, but I did want to include the folks on YouTube. So we're doing a completely separate one for the members and the people that are, you know, the viewers on YouTube. So we'll do that at the end. So everybody gets a little bit of love. Whatever's easiest for me to deal with. I don't know. I was like, screw it. We're just gonna do this. So that works. I'm happy with it. What size rod for albies? An 8 or 9? Also, do you not get bit off? No, you don't get bit off. They don't really have teeth. They have very, very small teeth, but it really isn't. You could stick your hand in an albie's mouth and you'll be okay. You know what I mean? Or a finger, at least a couple fingers to get a fly out. An 8 or 9 can work. I'd say a 9 is the lowest I like to go. I know some people that fish with 8 weights, but if you fish from shore, or even if you're fishing from a boat and you're in really fast moving water, an 8 weight can sometimes like almost not be enough for a false albacore. So personally, I like either a 9 or even a 10, like especially if I'm fishing from shore, because sometimes it's pretty rough. The inlet's ripping and the albies are coming through, and there's people surf fishing all over the place. There's people bait fishing that I need to get by. It was such a pain fishing in the from the rocks for albies. It was so much fun, but at the same time, you had to deal with people all the time. So having like a 10 weight or a 9 weight to be able to put pressure on the fish, and I don't fish with 10-pound fluorocarbon for albies. I fish with like 20-pound fluoro, or like 20-pound leader, 30-pound at times, just because I like wrenching on them and getting them in and getting them off, you know what I mean, instead of fighting them for like 30 minutes like I'm, just playing with myself. So you can use an 8 weight, especially if you're in a boat, even from shore, right? Depends where you're fishing. But I mean, I caught one that we weighed, it was 13 pounds, and that thing took probably, I mean, it went halfway across the inlet, which was probably like 150 yards or something. In the moment, in like the blink of an eye, and I couldn't stop it. And the local owner of the fly shop was out in his boat, and I'm screaming at him. I'm like, "Yo!" And the fish is going right at him, and he like put it in gear and punched it because this fish was just running across, and I had to fight this thing forever. But if I didn't have a 10 weight, I mean, it would have taken me so long, because once they take that much line, like hundreds and hundreds of feet of line, way like halfway into your backing, maybe 2/3 of the way into your backing. Because you got to realize it was full blown outgoing tide, and a fish that big, it can just go, And on a boat, it's one thing, you can kind of drift with it, or even at times follow it if you really need to. But from the rocks, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You just got to hold on and just try and make sure, when it comes at you, you got to reel as fast as possible. But so that's why I like a 9 or a 10 personally. And yeah, I usually fish with like 30-pound or 40-pound leader, and then like 20-pound fluorocarbon, like a section of 30 or 40, and then the 20. And then you're good. You can bring it down to 15 or something, especially from a boat, but I hate breaking albies off. You know what I mean? I hate having the fly stuck in their mouth. That's why I always crush the barbs too. Even though albies don't always, you kind of very rarely deep hook them. They usually hook them like either right in the top of the mouth or right in the inside of the mouth or the corner. But I have deep hooked a couple, and if I didn't crush the barb, I mean, the fish could have probably died or something, because you're sitting there and you're trying to fiddle with it, and it's deep, and so I hate doing that. So I always crush the barbs, and yeah, fish a heavy enough rod to where I can land the fish in a certain amount of time. So. But yeah, we do have the viewer marble race open, so !play if you want, and then we'll do the sub one later. So, all right, and then for everybody on YouTube, you stick around till the end. So we're gonna do one for you guys as well. All right, let's see. Let's use some synthetics. we've been doing a lot of natural stuff, which is great, which I love. But I have some Supreme hair and stuff here, so let's use some of this because this is a go-to material. And we could tie a surf candy, but maybe we could try something a little different. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I have. I know I used to have a silver marker, but I do have something else. I do have silver modeling paint for Warhammer that we could paint to the belly and then cover it in UV resin. So that is something we could do. In fact, just this is kind of like a spiced up surf candy. I forgot what Popovix calls the surf candy with the shiny belly on it, but you could essentially just use a paint marker or just paint as well. We're going to make the classic kind of silvery belly pocket on a silver side or something. They're pretty much doing a regular surf candy. Let's go with our body braid here. Well, let me get some music going. I don't even have any music going. Oh, is that AR Fly Fisher with the resub, by the way? I think I missed it when I was downstairs. Yeah, with the 26 minutes ago. Thank you, AR. I know he stepped away, but round of applause for AR. 41 months. 41 months sub on Twitch. Round of applause. Give it up. Give it up. So how's everyone's week going? Luckily, I'm off tomorrow, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But I hope everyone's been having an awesome week. Well, you folks on Twitch and YouTube. I know we got some folks on YouTube watching. All right. So Cragroll, by the way, nice. I saw you got a flounder or a fluke on the. I guess a flounder, obviously, but on the fly, very nice. It's awesome to see. Go ahead and tie this in on the belly. What state are you fishing where you got a weak fish and a speckled trout? That's pretty cool. I feel like if you can catch a weak fish, you should be able to find striped bass, no? Yo, AR, thank you for the 41 months, friend. Appreciate that, by the way. Yeah, we got the follower marble race on Twitch right now. Subscriber one later, and then we also got something special for the folks on YouTube that stick around till the end, so. We'll be doing a giveaway on there via Nightbot. So. We all rained out now on the last day, but a huge spotted eagle ray came through. It's North Carolina, gotcha. I didn't realize that weakfish got all the way down there. Yeah. Yeah, in the winter there are striped bass, but also, what do you call it? A very famous place is Harker's Island for striped bass and whatnot. See the story of the guy that caught a 51+ inch tarpon in Rhode Island? No, I didn't, but I believe it. I mean, I've heard, it's not the craziest thing in the world. I've heard, what do you call it? We have pound traps here, which are essentially nets with posts. And what they do is it kind of just one single net that runs along. It's not a gill net or anything, and it's a fish trap. And the fish swim into it, and then they can't swim out. So they come, and it's a very good way of fishing because the fish stay in the water, and then at low tide you can come, pick through the fish, throw the stuff you don't want and that's not keepers and stuff out, and then keep the fish that are legal size and that you're allowed to keep, right? And those guys have apparently had tarpon in the nets. I think it was like a couple years ago. There was one tarpon that they caught or something like that. There was rumors of it, but one of the guys that works at a local fly shop or tackle shop, they pretty much know all the guys around here that either recreationally or commercially fish and stuff, and they validated it from what they said, so I totally believe it. Now, did you see the story of the guy that caught the bluefin tuna in Raritan Bay on an aluminum boat? Did you see that on Instagram that everybody is calling BS? What are your thoughts on that? Has anyone seen that? Maybe you saw it. It's circulating, especially on the Northeast. It very well could happen But I know personally there were some guys that I know from just fishing that on their Instagram they hooked a bluefin tuna out in the ocean on a small aluminum boat like that, probably like 15 foot. They fought it for like 3.5 hours and they couldn't even land it. You know what I mean? Mind you, it could have been like 200, 300 pounds. I don't know how big that fish was. It looked like 100 and something pound fish in the bay though. Yeah, I mean, sharks come into the bay, right, to feed. I've seen it before. I know there's also sharks come into the bay when they're like dying. Like we've had mako sharks beach themselves in the bay here because they were ill. Um, I don't know if I've ever heard stories of bluefin tuna coming into the bay around here from any old timers or something. I could see maybe by like Montauk, in that sort of area. I don't know what a Raritan Bay is like what the depths are. I really don't like, but if it's like 10 feet deep, like we got bluefin coming in, I don't know. That's crazy. Um, what's wild is though, like, must be water temps. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, theoretically, it'd be very easy to fake that, right? You could just get your buddy to come bring you a tuna once he comes in out from offshore, and you just have the rod on there and the line and everything. You're like, yep, look at what I did. But I mean, realistically, I guess there is possibly a chance that a tuna could just come into the bay and eat a bait. Why? I don't know, dude. Maybe just to get he's gonna sell T-shirts or something. I have no idea why. But like I'm definitely thinking skeptically on it. I mean, but it's not unrealistic, right? Like weirder things probably have happened for sure. But like part of me just says, that might be BS. Just because it very well could be though. It very well could be. Which would be wild. But it's like he went out in that 12-foot boat with just a tuna rod. Like it looked like it was the only thing he had in there. Like where's you didn't even see like gear. You know what I mean? What's he got? Like a single little tiny tackle box in there and a pair of pliers? And he's going tuna. Like what was you know what I mean? I guess he could have though. I don't know. That or maybe they hooked one and he just hopped on the boat or something. Very well could be, right? Because there were, back in the day, people used to go out in dories, out into the ocean, and they would catch tuna, right? And I feel like maybe I've heard it before where people go out into like Boston Harbor and maybe catch them because you get tuna in New York City. Like there have been times where like smaller bluefins come in. Yeah, on jet skis. Jet skis are a whole nother game. Like people fish on jet skis out here all the time, especially with fluke and like striped bass fishing. And it's actually really effective. You can cover a lot of distance and do a lot of fishing. It's one of my preferred ways of seeing people use jet skis and not waking me when I'm waiting on the flats. But yeah, I'm curious about that. And I'm not trying to throw shade at the guy or something, but like part of me is like, you know what I mean? I showed that to my buddy. I was like, But at the same time, I mean, it's not unbelievable, right? It's definitely not unbelievable. So anything can happen. Like you said, some dude caught a tarpon, right? So I mean, we got lionfish, we got all sorts of crazy stuff up here from the Gulf Stream and the tropics that end up in the bay, right? The tuna, we have so many tuna out in the ocean right now that people are catching tuna in the ocean like right off the beaches in boats. Like people are hooking tuna about like half a mile offshore, a couple miles offshore, trolling just looking for them, or just you'll be fishing a bunker pod and a tuna shows up and you end up hooking one, like those guys did that I told you about, and end up fighting it for 3 hours and not catching it and probably died because they don't have the right equipment. You know what I mean? But yeah. Also, now this is a insider bit right here. If he doesn't have an HMS permit for his boat, then he just broke what was it? Is NOAA, the National Oceanic. Oh fuck! I had it down pat last year because we went to like meetings for them to the DEC, but to even hook a tuna or like know you hooking a tuna or purposely go for a tuna, you need an HMS uh, migratory species permit to fish for sharks. I know this because I wanted to go out and catch sharks. I looked up the law. I had to apply and get a NOAA HMS permit, highly migratory species permit. You know what I mean? Well, if he was fishing for something else, yeah, exactly. With a giant tuna rod. See, that's the thing. You could just say, "Well, I was fishing for porgies," and you're looking. He's got like a pen, like 15,000 or something. It's like a garbage pail rod. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not trying to get the guy in trouble. I'm just saying, like, you got to be careful if you're catching tuna and you don't have an HMS permit and killing them. You gotta, it might. Was it even a day that you can kill tuna? Because you can't even kill tuna every day. You have to call in every morning and see if you're allowed to kill them or something like that because it changes day by day whether you're allowed to harvest tuna. You know what I mean? So this is future reference for you folks. If you don't have an HMS permit, you shouldn't be fucking catching tuna. Or at least post some photos if you're doing it. You know what I mean? This is for all you folks out there. The more you know. And it's not much money. It's only like I think it's like 30 or $50 or something. But tuna fishing is no joke. Like I got a HMS permit. I think it was like 30 or $50. And then if you want to fish for billfish, or I think that included billfish, and the tuna permit was separate, so you had to pay even more money to fish for tuna. I think either billfish was included in the shark one, I want to say, or there's a separate billfish permit that you need to get if you want to target billfish. And then there's even more restrictions, right, between all of that. But it's for a reason, because if we didn't have these restrictions, you should see what they do in other countries. They don't have these sort of restrictions. They just harvest anything, you know what I mean? Luckily, in some places, they realized, like, due to tourism and stuff in the fishery, that they, like, put a crackdown on, poaching and overfishing of certain species like white marlin and stuff like that in certain parts of the world. Because it's such a boost for the economy for, like, the fishing's so good. They're like, listen, we got to do something about this. You know what I mean? Because like we talked about last time, my father is Turkish. In Turkey, there is like every fish you catch is like that big because they just overfished the hell out of that place. So there's pretty much nothing left. Like it's destroyed. Because the Mediterranean back in like the 50s and the 40s, now there's still bluefin tuna. There's still stuff like that. But I mean, it was much more abundant. I'm sure you could probably imagine. If you like go back into records of, this is very interesting. I was watching something about great white sharks in the Mediterranean because there have been great white sharks caught off the coast of Malta and places like that. Sightings around like Greece or Spain and whatnot. And apparently they're not even sharks that like travel in there. There's like a whole nother sub family, or not family, but like a sub what do you call it? Group of great whites that somehow like thousands of years ago made their way into the Mediterranean and have been like inbreeding or something like that over years. It's very interesting. Made their way from like I forgot what it was, the Black Sea or something like that, or the Red, whatever it was, a long time ago. From over by like Saudi and all that, from that side of it. So it's pretty interesting. The fishing, like, you can go back and look at, like, reports from Greco-Roman era, and they were talking about the fishing and stuff. So, like, the Mediterranean got heavily overfished over time. You can still go find bluefin tuna and stuff like that out in the ocean, but, like, from shore in Turkey, I never saw a fish that was over 3 inches. Like, it was all bait fish. I was like, what is this? I fished so many times there, too. I was like, damn, dude, not a single fish. Like, this is wild. It's all, like, sardine-sized fish. And I tried. Like, everyone was using little sabiki stuff. I'm, like, I'm throwing plugs. I'm throwing, what do you call it? Like, metal spoons and stuff and all sorts of crazy stuff. Bucktail jigs around inlets. And I'm like, dude, there's not a single thing. What is going on? But you go offshore, I mean, you'll find all sorts of crazy stuff out in the Mediterranean. They have bluefin tuna. They have all sorts of cool stuff. But, so, I mean, it is good. They're pretty, we do have some pretty heavy restrictions on, like, tuna and shark fishing and stuff. Because I mean, look, just like the shark fin trade and all that. There's so many like things that are just eventually going to lead to the like decimation of marine populations. So I'm okay with some heavy restrictions on tuna fishing and shark fishing or something. Like you got to use circle hooks, you know. But they're trying. There's only so much you can do. The big threat, especially to tuna, are these like commercial operations where they have helicopters and giant ships and they just stay out at sea the whole time. They can like, you know, freeze the fish and can it and do all this crazy stuff. So they have helicopter spotters and they go and they just put nets around like entire schools of tuna and just pluck them up, you know, in one shot. Which is pretty nuts. They do the same with bunker fishing down in Virginia. The Albacore, which is the giant Canadian corporation that's been decimating bunker and striped bass fisheries for a long time now. You gotta watch out. They're gonna be sending like hitmen from Virginia, like French Canadian hitmen. That or lawyers. You gotta watch. Like, it's funny. You go to these bunker meetings for the public, for recreational and commercial fishermen to talk about, and it's about restricting the quota on bunker fishing for like Virginia and stuff because of this large corporation. And the only, you'll see like a couple people there, a couple commercial dudes, like maybe one recreational guy that cares, but he's just like curious, you know. And then you'll see like lawyers from Virginia. Pretty nuts. Big money. Skipjack hasn't had a chance cooked and canned on board. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy that there's operations where they can stay out fishing at sea for like almost like half a year or something, right? And it's like everything's done on board. Like it's a canning factory and everything on board. It's pretty nuts. It's like the least way that I would ever want to eat seafood, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's important if you're, you know, eating seafood. So try and, you know, get it um either locally if you can, if you're around, but also like in a sustainable manner. You know what I mean? Like farm salmon is terrible, right? All this stuff. So it's definitely important to try and get the right seafood. It makes a big difference. It's always better to go fresh, local, right? Obviously, if you can. Is a 9-weight 10-foot decent enough, or should I go longer? No, no. So I mean, do you fish 2-hand rods? Do you fish like switch rods and stuff? If that's like your preferred way to go, then go for it. But I'm a single hand rod sort of dude, right? With fast action and pretty heavy lines. And a 9-foot's where it's at, you know? The only reason you'd maybe want a longer rod is if you're trying to fish like a switch rod or something, and you're fishing the surf and you're trying to, you know, not hit the shore behind you or something. But I mean, for the most part, Tony, I've fished with a 9-weight from shore all of my life, right? And if you can hop up on a rock. If you got cleats, be careful, or you can, you know, back cast or cast at an angle or something like that. So when you fish from shore, is it like you have dunes right behind you, or is it very rocky, or do you have room behind you? You know what I mean? If you got like heavy steep beaches behind you, then you may want a switch rod because you can actually cast that rod and it's about like 11 foot or something like that, right? So there are times like that when fishing in the surf here on Long Island, we have very steep beaches on the South Shore, and like a switch rod can make a big difference, right? But I also just struggle in general fishing with the switch rod. It's all about having like a really nice line setup. Like everything needs to be tight in terms of it working well, and then you also need to know how to cast it properly. If you got the wind at your back, I can cast a switch rod all day. Excuse me, like 120 feet. If I have the wind in my face with a switch rod, I could barely cast half the time. So I still struggle with it. Yo, Rev, thank you for the gifted membership going out to Speedy Cycle. Thank you. Appreciate that. Some of my life lies hearts in the chat. Or whatever crazy emote you got on YouTube. I gotta add more, but. And for the folks on YouTube, we will just stick around because we do a giveaway. We've been doing giveaways on Twitch for years. Last Friday of the month, a follower giveaway on Twitch for the followers, and a subscriber giveaway as well, and via like marbles, and the marbles are racing. You'll see it here in just a second. But for YouTube, I always forget. There you go. Oh, for YouTube, we're going to be using Nightbot. So there's Nightbot in the stream. So at the end of the stream, if you stick around, we'll be doing a giveaway via there. So be fun to do it via that, but Twitch is doesn't want, and also there's no third-party integration for the marble racing with YouTube, but thank you, Rev. Appreciate that. Lou Tabery used the 12 weight for large striped bass. Yes, Lou Tabery. Here. You got it. The book that truly motivated me to start fly fishing hardcore when I was a kid and learn how to do it. And this book taught me like everything about reading the beach and stuff. Lou Tabery fished with 11 weights, 12 weights for big flies. And now you want to see a big fly for Lou Tabery? That's a big fly. Check out that slab fly. It's like 7 inches long. You see that thing right there? Now, the reason why he's using 12 weights is not because necessarily he's throwing beast flies, but because he's fishing in the surf. He's fishing the inlet, right? He's fishing in really, really rough waters where if you're fishing in November, December, it's blowing 30 miles, 40 miles an hour out. You're on an inlet. The waves are hitting into you. Like, you're just trying not to die, first off. You know what I mean? And then you're trying to land like a 40, 50-pound straight bass that is very, very hard to fight on calm conditions, let alone when you're like standing on an inlet and there's wash and it's spraying all over the place. So that's where like a 12 weight, like look at the Roddies, like just a quick look. Check this out. He's using it's almost like an offshore rod. This is what it looks like when you have a old school sort of, what do you call it? Like sailfish rod. It's clearly not as heavy as like a 14, 15 weight, but it has that. It's probably like some sort of pseudo offshore saltwater fly rod, like a 12 weight or something, 11 weight, 12 weight, something like that. So, but because it's all fun and games, like, yeah, I'm going to catch a giant fish on an 8 weight. And then it either probably spools you or breaks your rod or something like that because like the waves and stuff. Or by the time you do land the fish, like that size fish on an 8 weight, you fought it for like 30 minutes. You can release it. It's probably going to be dead just due to the amount of lactic acid that's been built up in its muscles. You know what I mean? So it's just also like if you're targeting a big striped bass, you should be fishing larger rods, right? It's the same thing I say for the albies and stuff, like, and the big bluefish. You can catch 20-pound, like, you know, those giant 15-pounders. There's like regularly 15 pounds, the ones in the spring here. You can catch them on 8 weights. But if, you know, you get them on a 9 weight, you get them in a little bit quicker. It's just a little less stress on the fish in general, right? So, but, you know, I mean, because people ask me, they're like, can I catch striped bass on a 5 weight? And I'm like, yeah, you can. You could totally catch striped bass on a 5 weight. But, like, I mean, if you hook a 28-inch striped bass on a 5 weight, and you land that thing, I mean, that fish is probably hurting by the time you get it in, you know what I mean? Just from the amount of stress that's on the fish at that point from fighting it for so long. And let's say it's August, the water's 90 degrees, you know what I mean? There's low oxygen already, so it's like, I like making sure I have a heavy enough rod to do the job, right? But how's it going, Joe? That's good. Thank you for interjecting there with that. Yes, Lou Tabery, one of my favorite fly fishermen and authors in saltwater fly fishing, for sure. All right. So, let's throw some resin on here. Where's our medium resin we're going to use? Oh, getting low. It's about time for a new bottle, especially because I have albie flies that I'm working on for Saltwater Edge in Rhode Island. That time too. I had a couple people order albie flies recently, so it's that time. People are getting ready. especially the folks up in like Rhode Island and stuff, because they see the fish generally earlier than we do. So, like people who don't fly tie, right? They generally order their flies kind of early as well, because the last thing you want is the fish to show up and then you order flies and you already know it's going to take like a week or two because the dude's got to tie it from scratch. So, because I used to have people ask me all the time in the fall, like, please, I need albie flies. I'm going to Montauk in like 3 days. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's on you, bro. I mean, fine. You're lucky that I do things like this, but yes, all right, I'll try and get them done. You can like pick them up on the way. I'll leave them on the trunk of my car. How about that? But yeah, people are definitely getting ready for the fall time fishing. So I'm gonna need to order more resin. Surf candies are the probably the most popular thing I tie. So just a great all around fly in general. Oh, dude, you know what? Oh no, we're good, we're good. I was like, I forgot to put the silver paint on. I don't have a paint marker, but I do have silver paint from Army War Painter for all my Warhammer stuff. So we're gonna put a little silver paint on the belly, kind of like in that Popovic style. The one issue I'll have wind. And now there are people that cast switch rods into the wind to cast 120 feet. I'm just not that dude. You know what I mean? You done any fishing at Outer Banks, North Carolina? Curiosity? No, I've been to Wilmington, North Carolina. And I fished at Wilmington, North Carolina. I've never been to the Outer Banks. Wilmington, North Carolina. In fact, we could probably look it up on a map. I could probably show you where I fished. It was like a natural inlet somewhere we found. We went over, but bada bing. I just found like an inlet. We walked down the beach for like miles, me and my ex. And I just waded out into this like natural inlet that went into the bay and had like essentially it looked like it was perfect for redfish. I just wanted to go back there and wade for hours. But I had my ex-girlfriend with me at the time and I was like, dude, all right, whatever. So I'll just, she could hang out and I could fish or something like that. And I ended up just catching bluefish for hours. I went all the way to North Carolina and I was going to try some fly fishing too for fun and just catch bluefish. But I did catch then like a bunch of speckled trout on gurglers. So I haven't fished the Outer Banks, but what I can say is you will catch stuff like this sort of time of year, if I'm not certain. I mean, if I'm not wrong. There's definitely speckled trout, bluefish, redfish, all sorts of stuff. Just look for you can go in the bays, right? Go wading. Probably look for. In Florida, we always looked for oyster stuff, and for the redfish. I don't know necessarily. You probably gonna look for drainage ditches and things like that. I don't know how you go about that in North Carolina. I was trying to figure that out myself, and it would just take literally exploring, like just figuring that out. But if you go find like an inlet or something, or somewhere where the water, like a channel where it dumps out, you know what I mean? I just figured it out and I was like, all right, let's just try it. And I was fishing shrimp gurglers and I ended up just catching bluefish and speckled trout the whole time. So just find like an outflow somewhere, that goes into the ocean or something with like an outgoing tide or incoming, and try something like that. If not, then you could go try and fish the back bays. Look for the Spartina grass and look for some flats or something and fish some edges. I will say though, like, it did kind of freak me out a little bit because I feel like you're more likely to get bitten by a bull shark. I was like wading in this inlet the whole time, fighting bluefish and stuff, and I was like, the beaches there looked crazy. Like the surf looked wild. Like you couldn't surf it at all. It was just like crazy waves though, and I think it was pretty shallow too. I was like, I don't know if this is like it didn't look like a good swimming beach, like I don't know, it was like almost a different side of the Atlantic. It was because our beaches are very sloped. They're very different here in New York. It's pretty interesting. Hey, Speedy, what's going on? Do you use Crystal Flash rather than Flash Boo to mimic scales for striped bass flies? You know what? Honestly, I just use whatever I feel like, Speedy. Sometimes I like using Crystal Flash. For certain flies, I stick to certain things. Like we use Polar Flash here, and then we use lateral scale on the outside, right? Normally, surf candies, I always use Flash Boo for the tail. The synthetic ones get this lateral scale. The bucktail ones just are straight up, right? Um, for Mickelson's, we always use Crystal Flash, and then the piece of Flash Boo is used to palmer forward. But that's just because the Flash Boo is used to hold down the bucktail, so we use Crystal Flash because it's a different flash. You could totally use Flash Boo, right? So, I mean, I don't really think, it does. I don't know if Flash Boo versus Crystal Flash is like which one has a greater effect on getting the fishes. Is it just personal preference? I don't know. Because there have been times I don't even tie the flash in because I just forgot, and I catch fish as well on my personal flies. So I think it's just personal preference. I know for certain flies though, like Mickelson's, I always use Crystal Flash because the Flash Boo is part of the body. For surf candies, I always use Flash Boo. That being said, this is Polar Flash because I'm talking about in like my commercial fly tying, right? I stick to a pattern. For myself, I'll just use whatever I have. Polar Flash, Angel Hair, Crystal Flash. So I never have like a theory on like I'm using this specific flash for this fish or something. It's just what I think looks good and what I'm feeling at the moment. You know what I mean? There might be something to what you're saying, but moved down from Chicago 3 years ago and still haven't made it to the coast. But been tying up a bunch fantasizing. Wilmington is actually the closest part of the coast to me. All right, well, we'll try and look at remind me at some point here. We'll pull up Google Maps, go to satellite, go to Wilmington. I'll try and find the exact spot. Wilmington's actually pretty freaking cool. It was interesting. I was thinking about it because we were thinking about moving there. Me and this girlfriend I was dating at the time. The only thing is, like, North Carolina, I was like, dude, I don't know about moving to North Carolina. Because I was a mechanic at the time, and just, like, it would have been, like, I'm making, like, a third less of the money at the time or something. But, and I just loved living in Long Island. But Wilmington was really nice. I gotta say, it was pretty nice. It was a really beautiful city, and there's some cool parts of the city where it's, like, old school. You know what I mean? Like 100-plus-year-old buildings and stuff, and there's like a historical area of the downtown or whatever. How's it going, Laginator? New to tying and still exploring, researching. Yeah, and now if you in your head are like, I think this Crystal Flash is better for striped bass because it looks reflective for the scales, then there's no right or wrong, to any of this. So go with whatever you enjoy tying with the most and stuff like that, right? So don't get too I think it's all just personal opinion with this stuff, and which is great, right? There's no like law like, oh man, use Crystal Flash on that deceiver. Sorry, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? You had to use Flash Boo. Obviously, you should have known that. Like, luckily, there's nothing like that, so you can kind of just do whatever you like, which is good. Okay. So that was synthetic surf candy. I forgot to do the paint thing. That's totally fine. I got distracted. I guess we could. The idea is you do it on the first coat. I guess we could do it right now. Because I do need to do another thin coat, so why not? All right. Where is my metallic silver? Here we go. I'm just gonna grab an old crappy brush that I'm not really using. What baits? This is the first one. This surf candy we've been working on. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this. So this is Army Painters Plate Mail Metal. So you put that on the guns of your Space Marine assault intercessors, and then you hit it with a dark tone wash. But I don't have a paint pen, which is what I would normally use for flies. So I'm just using a little metallic paint here from my my miniature painting stuff. And then, just like a crappy old army painter brush. Yeah, that's right. This brush is really screwed up. This is actually perfect because I don't want to worry about washing it. So all I'm doing is I'm just gonna paint the belly here silver. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but should be good enough. Kind of hard to see due to the, let me see if I can get some reflection on it. You can see it a little bit better like that. You know, it's almost not as good as, I think I like the paint marker a little bit more or something like this, but I mean, it does work, so we'll just add a thin coat to this. Actually, we'll let this dry for a sec is what we'll do. Yeah, I haven't had too bad of a day. Thank you for asking, Leganator. How was your day? Striped bass are targeted more in the winter. Okay, you get a citation, the good kind, for catching and releasing one of any size. Really? You get a good citation? Huh. Interesting. What are you feeling towards faux bucktails? Seems like it could be good for surf candy, but not so much for... Yeah, I don't think there's really much application at all. It is like a synthetic material you can use for something like a surf candy or something. But I honestly, from looking at it and whatnot, I had no interest whatsoever for trying to use it in any sort of bucktail imitation. You know what I mean? As an imitation or a substitute to bucktail. Um, for like a deceiver, for whatever. Like I couldn't even imagine trying to tie like a bucktail deceiver with it. It wasn't that far off from just classic like Supreme hair or something. You know what I mean? It's just like just another synthetic material. So, um, I saw the faux bucktail stuff and I was like, yeah, I don't care about that. Like I saw it in person once. I was like, nope, I'm not using that. I know it's hard to find bucktails and stuff, but I mean, you're better off using crappy bucktails than you are using whatever that crap is, in my personal opinion. Now, that may be a little harsh. If you do like faux bucktail, more power to you. But it definitely, in my opinion, doesn't do the job of even like adequately imitating bucktail, right? They should have just called it like new synthetic material. You're not a fan, yeah, and that's just like I didn't buy any, but I checked it out at the fly shop, and I was talking to my buddy, who runs, who like stocks the fly supplies at the fly shop, and I was like, dude, I wouldn't buy any more of this crap. I'm like, like people might buy it, but I don't know if they'll buy any more, and that's just my personal opinion. You could do with what you want, but he's like, you gonna try it? I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'll buy some squimpish hair if I'm trying to like tie hollow flies. Surf candies, I'm going to be using Supreme hair, or maybe Steve Farrar fiber, right? But I'll just buy a bucktail. You know what I mean? And, like the reason why I use squimpish hair as a replacement to bucktail on hollow flies is because sometimes you really can't find 7, 8 inch long bucktail, right? That's soft and subtle enough. So I like that. Like I truly struggle finding great bucktail, unless you go to somebody that's amazing, like Brad Buzzy and Buzzfly, and places like that. Um, or like people that we've spoken about, you know what I mean? Or the old Saltwater Edge bucktails back in the day, which were like unbelievable. Um, so that's where I'll use like squimpish hair and stuff, but it's not like 100% a replacement for bucktail. It's just tying a hollow fly with a different material, and you get a different result than bucktail hollow flies, but it's still just as almost as great in my opinion. Some people will disagree, but and you can mix the two really nicely. Hey, Master of Battle, what's going
Ooh,
on, man?
baby.
What's going on, Master of Battle? Did you get your flies by the way, bud? I hope you did because like other people got their envelopes. So from the previous month's stuff, I need to send out docs. Oh, you did? Okay, good. I'm glad. Docs and whoever won last month, other than Doc, I forgot. I have it written down somewhere. And then there's one international package, which is banana. I gotta go. So when I go for Doc and banana, those are the international ones. I gotta go to the post office. What do you call it? I'll ship those. But okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to say we're tying for Saltwater Edge again. I took a break from fly tying last year, so what do you call it? We kind of put the orders on hold, but they also, I think, redid their fly shop or moved locations or something. So they just put an order in the other day. I told them, I was like, hey, I'm taking orders again, so if you wanna. So we're tying. I gotta tie up some mullet marauders. I already have the surf candies pretty much done. And I'm working on the squimpish hollows. So I'm doing squimpish hollows, surf candies, and mullet marauders, which the mullet marauder is kind of like my own creation. It's pretty much just essentially a bucktail deceiver with a flat wing tail and a Senio's laser dub head. So you got your CAR? Okay, good. I'm glad. Because it was like weeks and nobody, because normally sometimes you folks are like, hey, I got my flies, you know? And I hadn't heard from anybody like in the Discord about it. And I was like, oh God, don't tell me like, because I used one stamp, and I was like, don't tell me I had to use two stamps, because I remember specifically using one stamp last time. Because believe it or not, two surf candies in an envelope literally weighs less than, what is it, 35 grams or whatever it is, that where you need to pay for an additional stamp. So you should tie up a mullet marauder on stream. Yeah, maybe we'll do that at the end of the. We'll do that before the end of the stream. I'll make sure we tie one mullet marauder so I could brush up on it too for the Saltwater Edge ones. Is it fly? Yes, it is Friday Fly Giveaway Day already. So we do have on Twitch. We have the marble race, which I'll pull up real quick. Hold on. Right here. We have the follower race first, which we're going to be doing here in about 18 minutes probably or something like that, or 12 minutes. I usually do it halfway into the stream. All you got to be doing is being a follower on Twitch and type !play. Then we'll have the subscriber one. But I was like, how do we incorporate the folks on YouTube? Because I can't do the marble race and whatnot. So for the folks on YouTube, if you stick around to the end of the stream, via Nightbot, we'll be giving away some flies. So. But for all the folks on, we've been doing this stuff on Twitch for years, but I was trying to figure out how do I do it, and I was like, do I take away one of the Twitch giveaways and then just do one for the folks on YouTube? I was like, nope, we'll just add one for the folks on YouTube. So if you stick around to the end of the stream, I have Nightbot set up, which Nightbot essentially is just a bot that I can use to have commands and whatnot, so we can do a giveaway via the chat. So, going deep sea fishing. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think I can set it up so it says regulars and channel members. So I think that's what I'll do. Because I was thinking about just doing channel members, but we don't have a lot of members, and, you know, not everyone can. So maybe in the future that might be the case, just like how we have the Twitch sub one. But we'll do the regulars and channel members, which regulars, I believe, means people that tune into the stream there regularly. So, but all right. What's going on, McWillie? How you doing? So let's keep tying. Let's see. What are we gonna do here? We have our surf candy. So I think it came out pretty good. The one thing is this silver is definitely not very, doesn't pop. This is like a miniature paint that you probably need to layer up and stuff. But we do have a little silver belly on there. It was an experiment to see how that miniature paint worked on the resin. It's kind of hard to see. I wonder if I can get a real close-up on it. You can see that silver, but yeah, it's a fail, but it's still just a regular surf candy, so it's not like we can't fish with it. It still looks good. Last Friday of the month, we give away some flies on stream, so that's how that works. But I do need a way to. You do need to message me after the stream with a shipping address if you do win. So let that be the case. If nobody ever messages me after that for like a month or something, then you missed your opportunity. So keep that in mind. But generally, if you're watching the stream, you're gonna know whether or not you won. So I think you'll be all right. That being said, somebody won the Friday Fly giveaway on Twitch years ago via the marble race. I said, hey, like, send me your shipping address or something. Because it was a viewer on Twitch and you can whisper. And I'm like, hey. And I didn't hear back from the dude for like 2 years or like 3 years. And then he's like, yo, what's up? Here's my shipping address. And I was like, dude, you're lucky. I'm going to send you some flies because I'm a nice guy. But like, how the fuck do you respond like 2-3 years later? Like, yo, here's my shipping address, bro. Appreciate it. I'm like, dude, those flies were long gone. Like, oh, God. I sent him some stuff anyway, but I just thought that was so funny. It was like a year or two later. So, I'll try to let you know. But, for instance, if you're watching over on the tube and via the Nightbot thing we're doing later, you're going to need to reach out to me because there's no way to do that on YouTube. So on Instagram or Discord or something. So feel free to join the Discord if you're not part of the Discord. For the folks on YouTube, in the description, it's there. You can join our Fly Tying Discord. All right. So we whipped up surf candy. Oh, this will be cool. You know what? I am kind of getting bored of working with the resin. So I think we're going to work with the hot glue gun. That's right. That's right. Round of applause. Maybe we can try and tie some albicores. So, the thing is, though, I do need to find my hot glue gun and hot glue sticks. And then we can have some fun with that. We'll take some feathers, crystal staz, crystal flash, lateral scale, whatnot. And you can do this with resin, by the way. You can tie these flies with resin. But the legit, genuine albi hose with the, what do you call it? With the hot glue is where it's at. So, that being said, we are going to take a quick little break. I'm going to grab a drink, wash my hands, get the resin off, and I'm just going to find all my hot glue stuff. So we'll play the Albi highlight. For any of you folks that have been sitting down for this past hour and 14 minutes, by the way, you can kind of stretch a little bit. It's good. I got to do it for my back. But we'll be doing it via Nightbot later, so you'll type something in the chat, and then it'll pick somebody. So that's how I'll do it. On Twitch, we have our marble race. So, what that means is you type !play in the chat. If you're a follower, oh, Jerry, cut the feed. Yep, that's all right. If you're a follower, all you got to be doing is following the channel. The first marble to land in the pit's going to win some flies. After that, we have a subscriber race. The first subscriber on Twitch, which is a paid supporter on Twitch, we have a race for them as well. So previously, that was it. Right, you'd get nothing else. But now for the folks on the tube, we're going to be doing it via the chat later. So if you stick around, you'll figure it out. Send him some old rusted flies. Saved him for you, bud. Yep. Oh God, he was a nice guy. I just thought it was so funny. It was like years later he reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, you got those flies?" Probably got into fly fishing. Was like, "Oh yeah, I won flies." Yep. Maybe he like went to prison for like 2 years or something, and then got out. And he's like, finally, geez, I could finally log back into Twitch, get get some flies. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, okay? And I'll be back in just a moment. All right, so don't go nowhere. Stretch your legs if you need to. Grab a drink, and we're gonna be tying with the hot glue gun here in just a moment. All right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, eat it. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to our alley. Good job.
That's sick.
All right. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little toonie, bro. On the Albacore too. Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. God!
I gotta turn the boat so I can cast.
Oh my God, dude!
Alright, get back to catching him, Diego.
You're gonna kill him now. There's a shark.
Frigates!
Albie?
Frigates.
Frigate.
Whoa! Whoa! There's gotta be bluefin or something. Look at. Hell yeah, dude. To grab a fish like that, to grab a fly like that, a big deceiver.
All right, we're back. Let's have a cup of coffee. Hey, y'all. I'm new to this live. How is everybody? Hey, how's it going? Welcome. We're glad to have you here. We're tying some striped bass and albie flies. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning in. Give me 1 second here. Pretty much how this works is I'm just tying flies. And you folks are watching. We got folks on Twitch and YouTube. And we're back. Yeah, that was our little albie highlight where we play when I go to stretch it out in between. Just get some music going for myself. All right. So, let's see. Oh yes, we're tying. Excuse me. We're tying with the hot glue gun, which I have over here. That one, but I could also use my other one. Could just use the old one, but now we'll use the new one. Why not? We'll use the new one. I have a couple different types of hot glue sticks, but we'll use one of these, the Surebond ones. I got my Surebond hot glue stick gun. Where those tuna? They look like tuna. They're not. They're actually more related to mackerel, but they're called false albacore because they look like a tuna, but they're not. Then there's also bonito, which are more related to tuna species, I believe. But false albacore are more related to mackerel, but they are essentially just little tuna that come into shore. You can catch them from the rocks and from the inlets. You can catch them from the boat. We also have real tuna, like bluefin, yellowfin, and stuff like that. But yeah, they're called false albacore, so they're actually, if I'm not wrong, we looked into it. They're more related to like a mackerel species. So, hey, Crappy, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're gonna let this hot glue gun heat up real quick, and I'm gonna swap my thread over to a flat wax nylon, which we can really use any color in reality. I think I have some chartreuse. Yeah, let's use some like chartreuse or something. Why not? Yeah, those false albacore are pretty cool. They range in size from anywhere from like from like a couple pounds all the way up to like 20 pounds down in places like Harker's Island. The biggest one I caught was we weighed it on a boga rip just because it was so big. It was like, I don't know how long it was. I wish we measured it, but I mean, it was in, you know, it was pretty big. There's a photo on my Instagram. We weighed it. It was 13 pounds, which isn't that large, but the length of the fish, the thing is on the North Shore, the New York State record, I think, is like 16 pounds caught on a spinning rod by John Skinner or something, who's a famous surf rod guy. If this fish was on the North Shore, it would have broke that. It would have been like an 18, 19 pound fish. It was so skinny. But it was like a long fish. It definitely came in from the ocean or something. But it's funny when they're on the North Shore, they almost get another pound or two, if not more, just from how much bait is up there. All they do is gorge themselves on bait all day. And you get these crazy feasts, or these blitzes, we call them, where they just go nuts. They're just thrashing all over the surface, one after another. So it's pretty cool. Okay, we're going to get some feathers for this. Generally, we use some small hackle from the American Whiting Rooster hackles, which you can get from saltwaterflies.com. They're pretty hard to get though nowadays. They're just hard to get in stock. But these are my favorite hackle for deceivers. These are my favorite hackle for albie hose. What thread I'm using? Just the flat wax nylon. The 210 denier Danville flat wax nylon. It's my go-to thread if you know my thread choice. So we need two for the tail, and then 2 for the front, where we're actually going to lay the feather on top of a strip of hot glue. And you'll see we're going to get a really cool effect from this. I'm going to go pretty small just because these feathers are pretty small and I'm lazy, but also because this is a pretty good size for peanut bunker and bay anchovy stuff. Try Ewing? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Ewing are pretty good, especially for stuff I think like flatwing hackle and whatnot. I haven't tried their deceiver style capes, if you will. I will say though, the American Whiting Rooster hackle, it's like $35 or something like that for a cape, or a little under 32 or something. But it's the best hackle I've ever used for deceivers. You get the nicest deceivers with them. So, thank you, Laginator. Appreciate that. Don't give me too much credit. All right. Excuse me. So, let's get a little bit of hot glue here. And we'll tie our first piece on. So we use a mixture of hot glue and thread for this. Excuse me. Yeah, Ewing's really nice. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. So I'm going to have to try it out for sure. Ewing's another hackle company. For those that don't know, there's Whiting, Ewing. What's the other one? I know there's another one. Metz. Yeah, Metz is the other big boy in the game. I think those are the 3 big ones, right? Am I forgetting one? Oh, Keo. Yeah. Keo, yep. Metz, Keo, Ewing, and, God, excuse me, hold on. Metz, Ewing, Keo, and, Whiting. That's right. Cheers, by the way. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's having an awesome night. All right. So, we have our hackle tied on with a little bit of hot glue. I always run a little hot glue bead right on. Let me zoom in here. It's a pretty small fly, huh? Always run a little bit of bead of glue onto the actual hackle itself. That way it stiffens that hackle and it doesn't foul as easier as well. And it'll give us something to then attach our second hackle. Oh, God, my... went down the wrong pipe or something. All right, so we're going to go with some Crystal Flash. I do usually use Crystal Flash for Albie hose. I'm saying Albie hose as well because the full name. I don't know how YouTube likes it. So all right. So we're going to use some Crystal Flash. Might need to adjust that name for the times. Albie Ho. Mets used to be the gold standard, but I feel like whiting's taken over. Personally, yeah, whiting, I mean, is I don't do a lot of like dry fly stuff, right? So the hackle is different for what I use in saltwater fly tying, right? Um, but whiting I've always regarded in like a really high what do you call it? In like high regard in terms of their quality from everything I've ever got from them. So I forget who it is. I think it is Keo at the Edison Fly Show, or it used to be Edison now. No, it is Edison now. It used to be the Somerset Fly Show, but he always had a thing where he's got like big bins of hackles, and these are all the Keo hackles. I believe that's him. Someone can remind me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the Keo guy, and it's like $25 for a saddle patch. You can get multiple if you know. But these saddle hackles are beautiful for flat wings and stuff like that. You could see. So these are, I believe, the Keo ones from the Edison shows. Because I usually would get like 5 of them, so it'd be like $120 or something. I get like 5 really nice patches. But I think I have, other than, I feel like I have some Met tackle. I probably have all of it really in my hackle bin over there, or hackle box. Just a combination of everything. All right, so we need some crystal estaz. We can go with some chartreuse here. Do the whiting cape or saddle for the good deceiver? It's the whiting American rooster capes. Here, I'll find it. Saltwaterflies.com. Which, by the way, if you ever want to get some surf candies, you can order them from me, or you can order them from saltwaterflies.com, which one of the reasons for that is you get a bunch of materials and stuff like that. You can also support an awesome fly shop. Online fly shop's been around forever. So, bada bing, bada boom. Which that was pretty early into my candy days. My candies, I feel like, are much cleaner now. That was when we first started tying for him. He took those photos. So if you ever go to saltwaterflies.com, it's a semi-visually dated website, but it's been like this forever, right? I've been buying material here pretty much since like the late 90s. I used to have the got backing bumper stickers. So Chris is amazing. This is where I get most of my material from, other than local shops. The first page on the materials is all the hooks, all the body braid stuff, the eyes, vice versa. You go to page 2, hackle, okay? Whiting hackle, and it's going to be the American Rooster Cape. It's called the Whiting American Rooster Cape. Yeah, it's up in price. Or I feel like they were like $40 or something. Long time ago they used to be cheaper, but and he's out of stock at the moment, so it's hard to find. But this is my favorite. This is the saddle hackle I just showed you. It's my favorite, like, all-time saddle hackle patch. So there are alternatives. He does have, like, if we look, he does have the Mets. This is like flat wing sort of hackle, right? This sort of stuff. If you're going for deceivers, this is a great hackle, by the way, too, right here. This flat wing saddles with the pastels from Hairline. I get these from my local shop and saltwaterflies.com as well. These are great. I highly recommend this for like bucktail deceivers, hollow flies, flat wings, like big flat wings and stuff. These are really nice. You don't get a ton of smaller hackle. So you might end up like just wasting hackle in terms of like having to pinch it because it's long. It's like almost like dry fly length, but it's like flat wing width. You know what I mean? Beautiful hackles, by the way. Great price too. But is there an alternative for the deceiver? I mean, so Chinese saddle hackle is your classic go-to, right? But honestly, I don't know if there is really much of a an alternative to that pristine whiting hackle. What did somebody say earlier? Try the Ewing. So does Ewing have a patch like that though? Let me see if I could show you a photo of the whiting American rooster Cape Horn, so you can see what the hackle looks like. If you guys know an alternative, I would love to know it. It's a very specific type of feather, and it's like a very high quality feather. Very high quality. I guess I'll show you a colored one. Doesn't really make a difference, but this is what it looks like. And I use the white ones. So the feathers are really nice on these. Really nice. And they're very stiff. So not too stiff, but stiff enough to where they don't foul very easily. It makes a very good deceiver hackle, in my opinion. Ewing has deceiver patches. Ewing deceiver patches, eh? See, I've seen stuff like that, but the hackle was never good enough in my opinion. Oh, okay, I know these. I think I've gotten these before. In fact, I think I have one. I think this was one at one time. You can't see it. This was one at one time, I believe. Or very similar. Yeah, see, the thing is with these, they're not as stiff. These are almost more akin to like a flatwing hackle. I'm pretty sure this is it. They're almost more akin to like a flatwing hackle. And they're also too, you see this? They're a little skinnier. They're not as stiff and they're skinnier. They do make a great deceiver hackle. Like this does make a great deceiver hackle, but it's not as rounded, and it's got a different feel and everything to it. It's hard to explain. But the profile of the feather is different, and the stiffness of the feather is different. But this is a great alternative, I would say. For sure. I don't think I would like go with this as opposed to the Ewing. I mean the whiting though. I think I would stick with the whiting for like my go-to commercial deceiver feather, if I can get it. But if I couldn't get it, I guess I'd get these. But like, do these even come in white? Do they come in just white or no? Put the link in chat. There's no link. Just look, oh, what? For saltwaterflies.com? Otherwise, you just search Ewing. I have to have it set up on Nightbot. On Twitch, it's ! saltwater flies, I think. But yeah, these are pretty good, but they definitely are different. We just gotta wait for the roosters to be ready. Yeah, apparently there was something going on with the, Here, I'll put the link to saltwaterflies.com in the chat. How about that? You're good. In fact, I don't know if that's a link, though. Oh, it is. It should be. It may not be showing on YouTube. It showed it on my third-party chat merger. All right. Let's get back to tying the Albie hose. Okay. We got some stats. Sorry for getting off topic, but this is a good thing to talk about, is the hackle we're using, and because every once in a while you do run into issues where you can't get the certain type of hackle and stuff. So we got some stats here. So what we'll do is we'll tie this in. We'll lay a little bit of hot glue like that. And then we're just going to wrap this on top. So this is going to be, you know, this fly is very durable. It's one of the nice things. What's going on, Jay? How's it going? Yeah. Which is not like or something, but it's too hard to spell the other thing, so that's how we just do it. Like that. We're probably gonna be streaming for like another hour or two. So once we get this fly done, we're gonna do our follower giveaway on Twitch with the marble race. We'll set up the next marble race. That'll be the sub one, and then at the end, what do you call it? Probably right as that's going on, we'll do the one on YouTube. So for the folks that are watching on YouTube via the chat. What's going on, Frosty? How you doing, brother? Looks like the Grinch. Ooh. Forgot I'm supposed to do one side at a time because this is not a this actually might be on low temp because I was using it to make Warhammer terrain. What's going on, Frosty? How you doing, man? Normally, it's good to have a cup of water around while you're doing this, because you do need to dab it with water, but... Excuse me, the feather cut the thread there. Oh, Frosty said hi, okay. Laginator on YouTube says hi. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and tie this on here. How's Jersey treating you? What's it like over there? Is it what's the temps like? Is it hot over there right now? It hasn't been too hot over here. We had like that storm come through and then it kind of cooled down a little bit, but it's, I mean, in the 80s, but or high 70s. I think it was in the 60s this morning though. It's like 65 this morning. All right. Yeah, so normally we take a little bit of water. Is like my is there any condensation on this? No, I forgot. I brought it up when I started the stream. Okay. That's fine. Just helps to have a little bit of water to wet it. But I'm going to take a lateral scale here. We're going to lay a bead of hot glue, a light bead, right along the stem of the hackle here. And then we'll just lay this right on that bead. Excuse me. And I'll press that down. See, this is where having the water helps. I'm just dabbing it quick. But it's nice to be able to kind of press it into the hot glue. Because you'll get a little bit that sticks to your hands. Oh, concrete jungle. Ah, okay, gotcha. Really? So what is it, hot up there then? Nothing but asphalt? Instead of saying asphalt, I love saying asphalt. I don't know. I don't even know how to properly pronounce it, but I just love accentuating the ash part whenever I say it. That's just what I've grown accustomed to nowadays. Asphalt. Sounds like you're speaking a foreign language almost or something. You know what I mean? Asphalt. It just rolls off the tongue nicely. Alright, we'll put some eyes on here. We'll just whip finish this real quick. Also, so having one of these is really nice, by the way. If you don't have one of these, especially for hot glue guns, or for something like a surf candy. If you ever get your thread, watch this. Heat this sucker up and just clean out the hook eye. You burn away any mono that may have been covering the hook eye or any stuff like that. Same thing for this. You generally want to do it afterwards so you don't hit the the thread, but we're good. I could see it. So all I'm doing is just burning any hot glue that was inside the hook eye. This is really nice, especially because I do commercial fly tying, right? 50 surf candies. I don't want to worry about having to be absolutely perfect with thread. I just hit them all or whatever. I got it originally for this because you get a little bit of hot glue in the eye, and I didn't want to have it, so it works so well. I love this thing. I got this from Whitewater Outfitters. Hot, humid, and smells like pollution. Hell yeah, God's country, brother. Jersey, gotta let it. Hell yeah, brother. Hey, Jim, how's it going, dude? By the way, we do have our, this time I remembered, we do have the Friday with Fly giveaway going, so we have the follower one first. Type !play on Twitch in the chat. And then we have the sub one we're setting up afterwards. And then don't forget, I didn't forget about you folks on YouTube. You stick around. Oh boy. Yeah. So Frosty moved to Jersey a couple months ago or back. And he doesn't love it. You got to show him the ropes, Jim. Yeah, I went up by like Englishtown whenever we went drifting. That area of Jersey was really nice. It was like very wooded. You know what I mean? It looked like you were upstate New York almost or something. Welcome to the Garden State. What you got to do is take a road trip, go to the beach in November and go striper fishing, Frosty. That'll be a real Jersey experience. Go to Raritan Bay and catch a bluefin tuna. Raritan's Jersey, right? Yeah, that's what I heard. That's one of the reasons you don't want to move to Jersey is because it's literally some of the highest property taxes in the entirety of the world, right? I told my buddy, I was like, dude, what if I moved to Jersey by the racetrack and I just go drifting every weekend? He goes, do you know how much money the taxes are out here? And I'm like, we live in New York and you're telling me it's more? Oh, no, okay, definitely. I can't think about that. You know what I mean? I was like, sheesh, okay. You gotta tell me twice. You gotta be Jersey balling. Are you balling? Or are you Jersey balling? I'll just add a little bit more hot glue gun here. Yeah, you're just in the wrong area. You're in like probably suburbia, right? Jersey suburbia. You need to be up by like the woods or the beach. It sucks probably growing up, you know, where we did and then. But I'm sure you make the best of it. What you got to do is find the local underground diesel truck racing scene. Or something like What did they do in suburbia, Jersey? What was that one movie, The Garden State with the guy from Scrubs? Just go do that. Whatever that movie is. Right? That's a classic. Jim's probably like, God damn it. Englishtown is a go-kart track now? Really? No way. They don't do, I know they got rid of the drag track or something, didn't they? The drag racing track? It was like one of the only ones in the Northeast here. Like this. But did they really, I think they still got the drifting one, because I saw recently some of the guys from Englishtown, or some of the guys from Club Loose, hosted a drift event there. Yeah, this is like a very low temp hot glue. This is not very, easy to clean out of the hook eye here. I need to like physically run a feather stem through it. I get hot glue sticks from Ace Hardware store. They have a very specific hot glue stick and it works so well. Sure bonding stuff is okay, but it's like a very low temp. It's like a crafting glue stick. It's not really the best, but it works. I prefer these like hot glue sticks I get from Ace Hardware store, but they used to be really clear, and now they're like milky, so it's very hard to find clear. It'll say clear for the glue sticks, but they're not clear. They're like a milky color. Doesn't matter what brand. It's very hard to find truly like clear hot glue sticks. I grew up in North Jersey, Bergen County. Live in Somerset now. Yeah, oh, I know where Somerset is. That's where we used to go for the fly show in New Jersey every year. Now it's in Edison. I used to go to Somerset every year in like February. Stay at like a little Marriott or like Hotel Inn or wherever the place or Holiday Inn or whatever, where they had the thing right next to the convention center or something. Loose is still open, but the strip is gone now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have carts in there now. There's a giant indoor one. Oh wow, multi-level and brand new. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. They always had outdoor like dirt bike racing and stuff. It would go around the drift track and like in between the like drag track or something. I forget, but you would literally be drifting and then you would see dudes on like dirt bikes like flying in the air on the other side of the trees. Like, whoa, what's going on over there, dude? You'd be like mid like corner drift, and you see like dirt bikes. You hear them like doing like wheelies or something, like flying in the air. All right, there's our Albacore right there. Classic hot glue gun fly by Rich Regan, I think it is. Fly from Long Island, Florida stuff. Yeah, we don't have many racetracks out here that actually facilitate like different motorsports. So that one in New Jersey is the closest one where we always used to go when we were into drifting and stuff like that, or could afford it. We need to tie a fly that says "I'm here to party." I mean the Albiho's just pretty it. Yeah, I don't know. What would be the fly, chat? What do you think would be the fly that says "I'm here to party"? Like you show up, you're going fishing, you show up. I don't know whether it's a creek, a river, the inlet, to the bridge, wherever you go, to the flats, and you show up. Some dude sees you, and he's like, when he looks at the fly that you got tied on, and says, "I'm here to party." What's your interpretation of what fly that is? Because I don't even know. I would say the albiho, just from the Albie wise, you're showing up, you got that thing on, you're ready to rock when you're at the inlet. They're like, oh, this guy's not playing around. He knows how to tie with a hot glue gun. But I don't know what it would be. That's an interesting question. It's like a Freudian question for fly tying. I see what you're doing here. All right, I'm gonna unplug the hot glue gun real quick. We're gonna probably keep tying with it. But we need to do our follower giveaway. The Grinch. Honestly, if this didn't have a name, you could call it the Grinch, and it would probably be pretty nice. But there's probably a fly called the Grinch. I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody look it up. Is there a fly called the Grinch? I wouldn't be surprised. There's some dude that's got like a trout fly or something. And it's like a Clouser minnow with like with rubber legs or something. Hey guys, check out my new fly I came up with. That's why I've never been one to really do a lot. Oh, we got to tie a mullet marauder, speaking of flies that I came up with. But whenever I say I came up with it, I always preface it with that it's just literally like 3 other flies put together. You know what I mean? Because that's something that's pretty important in fly tying. People are like, love to like say like, oh man, look at this new fly. And it's like, it's really just a combination of a deceiver and a Clouser, or something. Like a half and half or something. Like you got to give. When the half and half were created by Bob Popovich. I mean, by Lefty Cray and Bob Clouser, by the way. So I was just using it as a reference, right, or something. So it is important to give credit where credit's due. If you just take something like a Sadati Slammer and slightly change it, or some fly or something, and Dirty Hoe, a steelhead fly. It's always something with hoes, huh? Ah, the Grinch fly. No, why did it? Oh, there is the Grinch. I knew there was a fly called the Grinch. I remember, like, in my brain, I remember hearing a fly called the Grinch. Sorry, Laginator, you're going to have to hit the drawing boards. All right. So, any of you folks, if you're a follower on Twitch, !play, first marble to land in the pit is going to win some flies. All you need to do is message me with your shipping address in a timely manner. The Grinch, too. Ah, got him. Got him. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Very nice. You got me there. After this, we're going to open up the next ones for the paid subscribers on Twitch. And then at the end of the stream, we'll pop the YouTube one. So for the folks that are watching there via the Nightbot. Let's get this puppy started. We are not going to be using Epidemic Sound because no, we're going to use it because I just realized I'm still paying for it. I currently have it in the Albi highlight. I just realized, so I'm going to need to, like, make new highlights before I stop paying for Epidemic Sound. So I need to do that because I'm being lazy. We still use it for a lot of stuff on YouTube and everything, but you can cancel your subscription and they don't copy strike you or anything like that because you were paying for it at the time. But it's like $19 a month. I've been paying for it for years, and at this point, I'm literally just playing like my own music that I've made most of the time. So at the beginning of the stream and whatnot. The only time we ever use it is on the edited highlights that I play while I'm taking a break for a couple minutes, and then for something like this for the marble race. But so we're gonna figure a way. I'll just make some music or something myself. So I'm gonna eventually have to. I gotta make some new highlights. So I'm gonna work on that. I've been saying it forever, but now here's a very good excuse to do it. All right, so let's get this puppy started. Good luck. May the best marble win. After this, we'll have our subscriber race, all right? Did you get in there, Wolverine? I think you did. You're in there. You're in there. I think I see you there. Yeah. May the best marble win. The first marble to land in the pit will be winning some flies in the mail. After this, we have our subscriber one, so don't go nowhere, though, because it's always good to practice your marble racing skills. Now, it looks like currently Master Battle's looking pretty hot. He just got his flies in the mail from a couple months ago, and he wants his chance, but Tony says, nah. I was gonna order post flies, but not anymore. Watch this. Now we do have rocks. You gotta watch out for the rocks. These are hazards here on this particular track. They have been known to crush people's hopes and dreams. You see what I did there? Oh, and just like that, Doc went flying off the track. He was going too fast around the corner, 355 miles an hour, and the momentum took him off 450 G-forces. But AR Fly Fisher, we got Frosty, Wolverine, Craggerroll. Tony making his way. He's getting chased by rocks, but he just crushed it with his mind. It's like something out of Indiana Jones. Craggerroll, Master Battle, close behind. We'll see if Tony can keep the lead. In the back, AR Fly Fisher, but you see how he has a fancy thing? He's like a professional marble racer, so don't, you never know what he's up to. He might skip half the track and do like a speed run. Tony's still in the lead, hitting some boosters here. We got Craggerroll, Master Battle. Looks like they're throwing elbows in the tunnel there, so they couldn't throw the ref couldn't throw yellow flag. Tony avoiding the pegs, very important. We're gonna focus here on the pegs real quick to see if anybody gets flung off the track. Is anybody getting pegged tonight here on Twitch? Probably, maybe not on this channel though. It looks like AR is good. He's good. Tony is looking pretty good right now. He's keeping the lead, but Master Battle is keeping the momentum here. Now, if he can avoid these up, you see the obstacles. That's the big thing. It's slowing your speed down, right? That's the number one thing that we're trying to avoid here. Tony, though, he's looking good. He's been keeping the lead. Now, if he can make it through the Snowflake of Death, he'll be all right. You may be asked, why is it the Snowflake of Death? I have no idea. That's just what it was named. Master Battle, though, made it into the hole. I realize he made it into the hole there, saving him time going through that snowflake. We'll see if it's going to be able to help him here. Tony's getting stuck in the rocks. The rocks are infamous for ruining people's leads. What you're going to see here now is a traffic jam of marbles, and essentially all of the progress Tony has made is for nothing. And it looks like Will getting stuck there too, but Tony's saying, oh, can I keep the momentum? Cozy's going, no, not today. I'm stealing it, baby. Can he keep it up? Oh, he's getting stuck in the tunnel, though. I don't know what happened. Maybe there was a banana peel or something. Can Master of Battle? Cozy hit the he hit the pool noodle in the middle of the track last second, losing him the win. Frosty Actual just going flying off the track at the end. And because of that damn pool noodle thing, giving the win to Master of Battle, unbelievable, truly a matter of RNG. You never know what's going to happen in the marble races. Give it up, round of applause. Very nice try, though. I will say Cozy almost had it. Poor Tony, though, from Let's Funk and Go. He was so close. He was holding it the whole time in the rocks. They cucked him. But that's okay. Congratulations. The marbles will determine who is the true victor. Congratulations, Master of Battle. Very close second place to Cozy, and very, very nice try to Tony. Let's Funk and Go. It's not really his name, but I'm not going to say the... I always call him Let's Funk and Go. We are going to pick another track, though, so hold on. Super rigged. Yep. You got to love it when the guy who wins says rigged. I can never win with you guys. Unbelievable. Let's see what we got next. Twisting Tumble. Marble Shinturi. A Leap to Remember. That actually does look pretty cool. That might be a high mortality rate, though, and people don't always love high mortality rates. I do. If you don't know what a high mortality rate is, it's where literally a majority of the people's marbles end up falling off of the track and crushing their hopes and dreams. It's always hilarious to me when, like, everybody dies and goes flying off the track, and there's, like, one dude left. Dude or gal or someone that makes it. But, it is... I try to not always go for high mortality rates. There should be a high mortality rate, like, counter. You know what I mean? We'll just pick random. Whatever it is. The funnel. Have to make a get pegged map. It just says get pegged in the back or something. Very appropriate. Oh, good. All right, so you can type !play. This is the subscriber race. So if you're a paid subscriber, you've been gifted a sub, or you have a Twitch Prime subscriber here on our Twitch channel, !play, and anyone else can join here in Twitch. It's just the first subscriber to land in the pit's going to be the winner. So, the last one was a follower. Again, let me write that down. Congratulations to Master of Battle. Master Battle is not eligible for this race, but he's more than free to join to maybe try and throw somebody's marbles off the track. So it's July, and Master OB, Master of Battle, is the follower winner. Okay. And sub will be next, and then at the end we'll do for the folks on YouTube. So we're leaving that open. Cut the music, Jerry. Okay. How's it going, Ryder? Yeah, so just to be clear, every month we do on Twitch, and now we do one on YouTube as well, but we have a follower giveaway. So you're a follower. We do that generally at the start of the stream. So that was the last one we did, and this one's the subscriber one now. But you could always feel free to join for fun, and maybe you can hit a subscriber's marble and knock it off the track. So we always recommend joining just to get some more marbles in there for some marble goodness. For the shoutcasting, that is, right? The shoutcasting. All right. Yeah, we started doing this a while back. I don't know, we were doing it some other way, and then I saw people doing marble races. I was like, oh, let's do some fly giveaways like this. And we had so much fun doing that we've been doing it for, I don't know, like 5-6 years now. Yeah, we've been doing the marble races for like 5 or 6 years now. Some folks have won like a bunch. Some folks have won once. Some folks haven't won at all, and it's just pure RNG. So, but the folks that have been supporting the channel for years, with a little bit of money here and there, have gotten some nice prizes over the years. The folks that have been, like Doc, or folks that have been watching for like 5-6 years or something, have won multiple times. But one day when we're a hot shot, famous, fly tying streamer, you know what I mean, the odds might be a little bit harder. But it's great. Some folks still haven't won though. It's pretty wild. So, but it is the RNG of the marbles. What, I don't control it. I don't control it. Yeah, and I remember AR, you didn't like win forever, and you were like, "What the hell? This is BS." Every time like you lost the marble, right? I think if I'm not wrong, didn't you win like you didn't win for like a couple years or something like that, and then you won once and you started winning like multiple times. It's just how it goes. You know what I mean? So, all right. So we got our Albacore here. I think we're going to tie another one. This time on a larger hook. So just to give you an idea too, I'll just what I do is I usually have a giant pool of flies because we've been fly tying a lot more on stream. So we always end up having a bunch of flies. So like these easy body flies, I'll either send you like 1 or 2 of these in the mail is what I do. And it's never like any poppers or never any weighted flies because they're too heavy to ship in envelopes. So it's always like some either little deceivers or candies or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might get a Grinch. You might get the Grinch too on DVD, which is the name of Albihose is what we're calling it now. It's the full name. Yeah, you're not getting beast flies, and no, you're not getting any half and halves with like lead wire and lead. You know what I mean? Yeah, which is fine anyway, because who the hell wants Clousers? Like, if you win the Friday fly, you want Clousers, which are like literally the first fly you learn how to tie, or do you want like cool surf candies or like Albihose or like flat wings? Those are the stuff that people, I think is cooler anyway. So it works out anyway, as opposed to that or like Bob's Boehner, which is just some foam. Put a treble hook? No, we don't. We really don't fish with treble hooks a lot. Because you got to realize a lot of people that fly fish do it for the sport of it, and catch and release. Treble hooks is 3 more points on a hook. You generally do more damage to the fish, and the other thing is, I don't know if you're familiar with fly fishing, Laginator, but you're casting that hook back and forth, and if you hook yourself with a fly, it's pretty bad. If you hook yourself with a treble, I don't know if you've ever gotten hooked with 2 of the hook points from a treble at once, but I hooked my buddy in the head, in his hair, but in his scalp with a treble hook once while I was spin fishing. And this guy was our friend's stepfather. He was the local tackle shop owner. It was Altenkirk's, in fact, which is a famous place here on Long Island that closed down. And we're like, hey, we need your help. I got a hook stuck in my friend's head. And he's like, all right, look, we're at like a drag race somewhere, and we were like they were watching cars, they were saying, because it was my buddy and his dad. He's like, all right, when we get back, you guys come, and then I'll help you get the hook out. We're like, okay. Because we're like, he's going to maybe cut the hook points or what? Because 2 of the hook points were stuck in, and they were in there. So it's not like you have 1 hook point with a barb to contend with. You have 2 of them that are simultaneously gripped onto 2 different spots, and it's tight. So it probably hurt him a lot. And it dug in there. Luckily, it wasn't a giant plug. It was a Yozuri. So it was a really small treble hook, like saltwater one, relatively sized, right? It wasn't like a giant one. But the thing is, it got stuck in his head. So then he's like, all right, cool. So we're like, how is he going to get it out, right? And we figured out, he was like, all right, yeah, get ready. I'm going to count, to the count of 3. And on 3, I'm going to rip it out is what's going to happen. There's no way we can, like, crush the barbs because both of them are, like, under your scalp. You know what I mean? And we're like, okay, cool. So we're waiting. He's like, get ready on the count of 3. All right, just get ready. This, that. And we're like, okay, we're sitting there. And he goes, all right, you ready? And he goes, 1. And he just goes 1 and just rips it right off of his head. I'll never forget. We all just started dying laughing. And we're like, what? He's like, what the hell? You didn't go to 3. He goes, well, if I went to 3, you would have like, tightened up. So I just, on 1, I just went for it. But we were like dying laughing because it was just so hilarious. He goes, you ready? All right, I'm going on 3. All right, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. He like counted, he like went through it like multiple times to make him like calm and stuff. So he didn't tense up. He goes, all right, here we go. 1. And he just rips it right off of his head. And then the effed up thing, because it wasn't, it may, like, I don't know who was the fault. I was just fishing. It was blowing like 30 miles an hour. Apparently, so this is what we were hanging, we're all hanging out after high school. We're hanging out, having fun, you know what I mean? Puffing it up, doing what you do. And there's like 8 of us, and I'm surf fishing. And we're down near by my place or something. And 2 of my friends are like straight up Greco-Roman like wrestling to the death. They're like, one's got the other dude in a headlock, and they're like trying to flip around. This was Johnny U for my buddy Frosty. I forgot who he was wrestling or something. And so they're all like, all my other buddies are like watching them, like, yeah, yeah. And my other friend was sitting right next to me, and I don't know what he was doing, but I had no idea he was right behind me. He just moved to like right behind me and stood there, and I moved my rod back to cast. I've been fishing there the whole time, and I was like, at first I yelled at him. I'm like, why did you stand there, dude? Because it's blowing like 30 miles an hour, and I'm fishing on this like grass, So I was like, all right, I'm good. They're over there doing something. But I felt so bad because I hooked him in the head with this treble hook. Now the thing is, though, after that mofo was like, I swear to God, he tried to hook me a couple times, specifically while we were fly fishing, because I taught him how to fly fish. Like, he never let it go that I hooked him in the head with that treble hook by accident and apologized. And he was like secretly trying to like get me with a fly or something. I swear to God, I'll never forget it. I was like, you know what? So this was like, he had all sorts of problems, but I stopped hanging out with him. But I swear, he was like trying to hook me with I'm like, dude, what are you doing with that fly, dude? Calm down. Like, there's no reason to be casting like that. Yeah, Frosty knows who he is, but I'll never forget that. That was pretty funny. He's like, oh, no, don't worry. Look, I'm just casting over here. You're like, dude, whoa, 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 whoa. You're like dodging it. I'm on his John boat. Like, yo, chill out, bro. I'm like dancing on the front of his boat. Oh, God. All right, so we have our subscriber race up. We're going to leave that up. You can feel free to join whenever you like, !play. For the folks on the tube, we got something set up for you at the end. You just got to stick around. We'll do it in the chat. And we're going to keep on time. We are going to take a quick little break, though, right? Like every hour and 10 minutes or so. We just stretch, stand up, stretch. I'm grabbing another drink. We're just going to play our other highlight video. It's only like a couple minutes long, and we'll be right back working with the hot glue gun to tie some more albie flies, all right? So don't go nowhere. But that was our little treble hook story. So no treble hooks. No treble hooks for you. By the way, that last little clip you see with that two-handed rod is a us fighting a shark on the boat on stream. Oh. But that was 4K footage shot by my buddy Lost River on Instagram. Shout out to him for that amazing, like 4K slow-mo footage on the boat. Like we're just chilling there, the balloon's out, fly rods in the holder. Might need to put that fly rod to use soon, actually. I know AC Fishing was like, yo, Sunday, let's go fishing, but I have Savage World and stuff. Maybe if we go early or something, who knows. Apparently he got a shark set up, so, or something. Okay. Let's keep on time. Don't forget, we got our subscriber giveaway on Twitch on the marble race. And then for the folks on the tube, you stick around, we'll do one via Nightbot. When we're running the marble race, we'll have everybody join. All right, give me 1 sec. Plug in the hot glue gun. You always unplug the hot glue gun whenever you run away, step away. Also run away for some reason if you have to run. Might want to unplug it. Just so you don't burn the house down. It's a good plan. I usually do that. Let this heat up. Is the boat running? The boat, if I change the filters and everything, runs. It's the trim unit. So right now I'm just waiting to get my truck inspected. The truck runs, drives, registered now, fixed everything. Blew out the rear end. I had to replace the differential cover, all the fluid, all that. It was such a pain. But the truck's good to go, so I'm just waiting for my inspection date or whatever. For my date to go to the dealership to get inspected for my buddy. So. El Grande by Remington? Yeah, that's the one, I think, if I'm not wrong. I think that's the Grande. That reel that I had, the 13, 14, or like 15 weight. It's got like literally 700 meters of braid backing, which that's a lot. You don't want to reel in 700 meters of backing, but I needed it just in case I hook a 500-pound Mako one day. I don't want to get spooled at least before it breaks me up. All right. So, let's tie a size 1 odd Albacore with the hot glue gun. And again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. The reason why we do these Friday of Fly giveaway nights is for you folks that either support the channel via on YouTube or Twitch, you know, as like Twitch Primes or whatever, or just by tuning in and watching as well is another way to support the channel. So, but so I appreciate it. So I hope you folks are having an awesome night. Another Grinch, yes. Except this time we're going with a different color for the Staz. I don't know if you still want to call it the Grinch, but my 12 weight is set up for giant tarpon. I think I also have like 500 yards. Yeah, you're never gonna need that much, you know. But because if you do, my buddy was like, if you get to like 300 meters, 700 meters of backing, like you're not gonna want to deal with that. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be reeling that thing for like half an hour, just like this, getting the line in. Let alone if there was a fish on it. Oh man! So you want to make sure that drag is set to the appropriate tension. You know what I mean? Not too tight, but tight enough. Still the Grinch. Okay. Tug is the drug. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be like probably anywhere from 400 to 800 bucks for a used trim unit. So, thing is, you know, I got bills, I got all sorts of stuff, right? So, I'm just going slow. We're getting the truck, get that good. It's a good thing I didn't start blowing money on trailer parts and boat parts because I had to fix the rear end. That cost a couple $100. Luckily, I did the work myself, you know, because I've changed many differential covers over the years being a mechanic. But I forgot how much it sucks working on the ground. So it's been a couple of years since I picked up tools and did worked under a car all day, but what do you call it? So after that's gonna be the boat trailer, because I can't really go fishing without the trailer. So, and then after the trailer's good, I'm slapping a trim unit on it, and bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully I can get it this year, like for Albie season. But if I can't, I can't. I don't know. Because we're going clamming every day almost, making money, but it's only so much, so. Luckily I got fly orders, I'm working on this and that, but, you know. I also have, just make sure I got my real life, my immediate responsibilities, and then, you know. Because if I was clamming off the boat, I would fix it in a second. You know what I mean? I would do whatever I got to do to fix it because I'm making money with it. But it's really just going to be us fishing off of it. Because all my clamming I do with AC, so. So it's more of like a luxury thing. But I have to fix it. It's got to get fixed. Because I can use it to go clamming by myself if AC doesn't want to go one day or something. Or he's out of town. Because we got a nice little thing going on. With what we do. But you never know in the future, maybe. Who knows? But no matter what, I want the boat for fishing, right? That's the number one thing. Going out, and especially like streaming some cool fishing. So that's my number one priority is getting that boat fixed right now. Any money I get is going to fixing it. So I just got to make sure I like pay my bills and everything. So I'm just slowly saving up, you know, being responsible. Not like going crazy. I could have got a trim unit by now, but like, you know, what's the point if like my trailer's not fixed? And no worries, dude. Good luck. Good luck. Have a good night. Good luck with everything. All right. Let's go ahead and get some flash on here. But thanks for handing out, AR. Good luck. Oh, we'll get it. Don't worry. Well, I'll get it fixed. It's just, you know, things are expensive nowadays. I'm not looking forward to paying for gas. Luckily, my boat doesn't use too much, and I use an external tank, so I never fill up a 50-gallon, even though it doesn't make a difference. Right? I'm still paying for gas at the same price. And, like, I'm pretty lucky. Like, we wouldn't even burn 10 gallons some days going shark fishing. And, like, we'd run, like, quite a distance out into the ocean. Probably total plus 20 miles. There and back, you know? Let alone the distance to run out. That was just, like, almost diagonal-ish from the inlet. But he sent me a beast fly. Yeah. Those beast flies we tied, actually, I sold to the local fly shop owner. His buddy did something really nice for him. And he was like, yo, can I buy some beast flies from you? I know you don't really tie them often or for money or whatnot. I was like, you're lucky. We just tied up a bunch. So here you go. So I gave it to him for a good deal. And, what do you call it? So it's good to keep the local shop owner happy. It was good to tie some beast flies. We'll tie some again at some point. Didn't I have a second feather? Where'd it go? Is this it? Yeah, there it is. All right. What color of Staz do we want to use, huh? We use chartreuse. Let's pick something different. What do we got? You know, this is actually pretty interesting, too. Like, I just saw this. I don't think I've ever done this. Let's do this. I'm going to use an EP dubbing brush. So, I always use crystal Staz, but I've never done something like this. And this is a bigger dubbing brush, but this red dubbing brush is going to be sticking out. I don't know how this is going to work. We're just going to try it. We're going to experiment. This is what this is what Friday night fly tie-ins for. Go for the hat trick. Of you win all three. Yeah. The hat trick, huh? Unfortunately, you can only win one, so I've thought about your shenanigans. Have gold? Oh, what? Gold Astaz? No. I have like tan, and I have like root beer are the colors I use a lot. I don't think I've ever had a gold Astaz though. That's interesting. Or like a silver. I feel like I never see that. I should look for some. Yeah, this could be interesting though. I've never done it with a dubbing brush, so we might as well try it. But what if? Local fly shop around me says they all slamming the smallmouth bass on poppers lately. Oh, really? Yeah, there's certain times of the year where they get. I feel like we used to catch a lot of largemouth on topwater. It was always around like mid-June because I think what it is they like spawn or something, and they were just super active. So we would go carry on foot because you couldn't do it any other way. You can only drive in there and fish during the day. So we'd had to carry our canoe through the woods to this county park and fish at this one pond over here in the woods. It'd always be around sunset. The bass would go nuts. What should this one be called? Oh, I don't know. By the way, this feather in the back's a little out of control, but we'll get it in control here. What's the guy from the Muppets? The guy that's like the Tasmanian devil sort of dude that's always like like going crazy. You know who I'm talking about, right? With like the beard and the hair. Animal, did they call him, or what was his name? That's what this one is. Somebody know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right? The crazy, like, wild man on the Muppets. What was that dude's name? This is a job for chat. I'm gonna go with Animal was the guy's name. Maybe I'm wrong. He was like, is the Muppets still a thing? I know like Muppets were like pretty big when I was a kid growing up, like Lamb Chops and all that in the 90s. Wait, isn't that Sesame Street? Am I getting them mixed up? No, Cookie Monster is Sesame Street. That is different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's like a wild dude on the Muppets. Because I remember there was like the Muppets movie where they're like pirates. You know what I'm talking about? He's in that one too, I remember. And that's what this reddish hair reminds me of. Animal. Yeah, it's Animal. No, not the Tasmanian devil from Louis. I'll show you guys right now. Hold on. Good job, Jim. Or Super, I'm sorry. Good job, Super. It's this guy. Animal from the Muppets. This guy right here. That's what the red reminds me of. That's what you call this one. Animal. Yeah, he's the drummer. There you go, Dennis. Yeah, exactly. I forgot he's a drummer, dude. You remember the movie though? It was Tim Henson is the guy who created Muppets, right? If I'm not wrong. But the movie where they're like pirates and there's Tim Curry is like the big bad pirate guy, and they're like all singing like sea shanties and stuff. He's in that one too. Past my time. You mean like they were around before you, or you're too old? Because I feel like you would know the Muppets. Maybe you mean you're too young. Yeah, that's what I was asking. The Muppets still a thing. When I was growing up, Muppets were like in the 90s were like huge. And then of course Sesame Street and all that jazz too. Jim Henson. I'm sorry, not Tim Henson. Tim Henson's probably somebody completely different. Jim Henson. Yeah. Yeah. But I love the Muppets. Muppets are cool. You could probably still watch that one Muppets movie. It's probably still pretty good. It's probably still not bad. Isn't the Muppets? Yeah, the Muppets is Miss Piggy and Kermit, right? Yeah. Yeah, Muppets is Kermit. And see, I always get it's like a weird part of my childhood. I almost get them mixed up with Sesame Street sometimes. You know what I mean? So I could see how you do that, Rockfish Buster. Old, okay, okay. I feel like even like maybe I guess you just had to have kids at the time. I feel like even my parents enjoyed the Muppets back then, but maybe my dad was probably like, God, I hate these Muppets. I gotta watch all the time. And I'm like a little kid, like, yay, Muppets. Let's watch the Muppets movie for the fourth time in a row from Blockbuster. And my dad's probably like, God damn it. All he wants to watch is Muppets or something. All right, what do we do with these eyes? Oh, it went somewhere. That's all right. Disappeared on me. We'll use some. Now I want to use some larger ones. This is a one-on. I'll just grab a different than eyes. That's fine. Got our big bag eyes over here. Yo, Brew. How you doing, by the way? I saw you, almost missed that was you. What's going on? How you doing? How you been? Yeah, we got our sub marble race going on, and then for the folks on YouTube, stick around because we're not going to be streaming too much longer here. And when we start this subscriber marble race on Twitch, we're gonna set up our Nightbot giveaway on the tube for the tubers. So just stick around. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I was like, do I take one of the Twitch ones and move? I was like, no, I don't want to. We'll just add one. How about that? Googly eyes. Psh. Now you sound like Mall Dropper. I wonder what Mall Dropper's up to. Probably putting googly eyes all over his house. There's a viewer we had on Twitch, Mall Dropper. Every time we tie a fly, he'd be like, you know what looks really good on that? Googly eyes. I couldn't tell if he was truly a googly eye enjoyer or like a meme. But I think it was a combination. See, this is why kind of you need water. So, I'm just going to cheat. Use a little saliva. This one I'm keeping. I'm not shipping this one. Having a little cup of water helps while tying Albie hose. Oh, I didn't put any, I didn't put my damn lateral scale on here. We can still do it, and I'll show you how. We're just going to cheat. I am going to grab a cup of water, though, because you kind of do need it. You don't need much. You just essentially dip your finger in a little bit of water, and it not only allows you to not get burned. Not that this hot glue is really, this low temp hot glue doesn't really burn you. It's more so the fact that it sticks to your fingers. So if your finger's wet, it like semi cools it, but you can also kind of smooth it. So you can kind of manipulate how the hot glue lays down. I'm gonna be honest with you. This hot glue that I'm using at the moment is not really the best. My favorite is the stuff from Ace, but I don't know where it is right now, so I just grabbed this. This is the stuff I use for crafting Warhammer terrain, the Sherbond glue. So it does work, but... So I'm going to lay that on there. I didn't really put much water in there, but there's enough. Now I can dab that down into the hot glue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth out. Because I didn't tie this on there, I actually just put this on the hot glue. And I've tested this. You could fish this, it works, especially if you lock it down at front and back. So I always go to the back as well, put a dollop on top, very light, and then I press it down like that. And then we lock it. We lock down that lateral scale like that. Yeah, this one's really interesting with that dubbing brush as opposed to a Staz. I'm curious, like, I don't think it's going to affect the way it swims because you could tie hackle and a dubbing brush on a size 1/0 hook like this, and it tracks perfectly fine, right? So it's not like gonna swim wrong or anything, but it's got a crazy like profile, and it really just kind of looks like a fish that's like really bleeding, I guess. So I don't know. This will be interesting. This will go in my Albie box, and we'll call it the thing or the animal, and hopefully the Muppets don't sue me. And what is it? It's literally just an Albacore, but with a dubbing brush. So it's really, I'll be like, check out my new fly, the animal, aka an Albacore with dubbing brush, like in quotations right next to it. Or something. It's really all it is. So I'm going to lock this one down here. You can see right where I put it like that. I'm going to go light dollop a daisy. And I just press that down like that. Ideally, you tie it in, right? But I forgot this does work. This isn't a fly that I'm tying for a commercial order, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So we can have fun. And you still have that white like that too. Very interesting. Very interesting like this. I've never tied an albacore with these. I think it'd probably be more suited with like a shorter dubbing brush. You know, like a 1/2-inch dubbing brush. But I think there's something cool to the fact that like we're using the larger dubbing brush. You know what I mean? It does have a very interesting. I'm really curious what it looks like in the water with this dubbing brush, like when you're stripping it in the inlet. Now this is something too. I don't know for how many folks albie fish, but when I first started, I used to like strip my flies like crazy, and then over time, what I started realizing is if I just strip at like a medium pace, like a slower medium pace, but still with somewhat speed, I was catching just as many fish, and I wouldn't like my fly would be in the water for longer, especially in the strike zone of like being like 30 feet right off the rocks, like in that edge where we'd set up as all the fly guys, and you'd have the albies come run up and down the rocks and stuff, right? Fire up the fly tank. Yeah, that's right. You know, it'd be a cool video is for YouTube. And this is something I haven't made a YouTube video for a little bit. I have a bunker fly that I need to film and other stuff. I've just been so busy. But a cool idea would be like tying surf candies with various materials. So you got your bucktail ones, your synthetic ones. You'd be tying it with squimpish hair. You could tie it with that damn faux bucktail and all sorts of stuff. We could tie albicores, but then use different materials for the body and stuff, and then put them all in swim tanks, and then put them side by side and see how they look. You know what I mean? That could just be a fun video as well. And instead of just being one fly for like 10 minutes and how to do it in depth, it's like me tying multiple flies and like cuts of it, and then discussing my thoughts on using the materials and then showing them in the tank. Could be a fun series. You know what I mean? Something interesting. In fact, I'm writing that down before I forget. Not that that's very hard to forget, but same thing with various versions of flies. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, let's tie one more, and then we're going to be doing our sub marble race and our Nightbot giveaway on the tube. Let's grab one more 1/0 here. I'll tune in. I've tied a few with squimpish, a little too flat and opaque for my taste. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's perfectly understandable. I've tied some candies with them. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, just with how the material is for candies. But I've tied half and halves, and I've tied like Clousers with them, and I like it. But I think it's more suited to a specific use in streamers, like building bodies and streamers and stuff like that, or like hollow flies, vice versa, right? Like if you look at David Nelson's work tying like his brown trout or striped bass, like squimpish style of flies. You know what I mean? So when we're tying like big hollow flies or like peanut bunker sort of stuff, that's where it really shines. right? It's kind of being almost like underutilized, or it just doesn't really fit for like certain stuff like surf candies. But yeah, that's a very good point. Could do a few snapshots of tying it. Well, I was just thinking I'll tie it. So I'm not going to explain, whatever this, that. And I'll tie each fly and I'll just show little clips of each fly being tied in videos. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Yeah. Do we have one? Let me see if we. I don't have any here right now, but. Yeah, they're great flies. If you take a look on, what do you call it? On my Instagram, probably it'll be later this week or it'll probably be next week. I'll post the flies that I'm tying for Saltwater Edge in Rhode Island. And I'm tying some Squimpish hollows for them. It's actually the thumbnail of this video is a bunch of Squimpish hollows for Saltwater Edge. Photo I took a while back. All right, now we use some dubbing rush. And I've had people weigh in like different opinions on using Squimpish hair for hollow flies, but personally I really like it. I've struggled getting good bucktail at times, especially in different colors, and it's totally fine. Like people get crazy about bucktail hollow flies if you try and use anything else. They're like, "What are you doing? Bucktail is the best. If you're using anything else, you're crazy. It's so heavy. It's just that." I'm like, dude, listen, it's all right. Like, yeah, I agree, but like bucktail is superior in every way, but sometimes you can't get good bucktail, And I do like the Squimpish hair for stuff like hollow flies because, you catch a bluefish, it doesn't get completely destroyed. Like, I would never want to throw a big bluefish a big hollow fly if I know there's big bluefish around. I'll throw my Squimpish fly, though, because it is more durable when it comes to bluefish than regular bucktail. And I've done really well with it. I enjoy it, especially for larger flies. But the problem is you need to keel the fly. If you're, this, that, you need to know how to tie with it, just like anything else. Bucktail is a lot more forgiving because it doesn't weigh that much. It's a matter of, like, getting the appropriate bucktail and learning how to work with it, right? And manipulating it with the hollow ties. When it comes to using, like, synthetics, even though this is, like, a really nice synthetic, it's not, like, using, like, Supreme hair or something. You still need to, like, know that you may need to put a keel on the hook, like Sadati Slammer style, you know what I mean? Even though David Nelson doesn't do a lot of that stuff because he uses less material sometimes than me. Hey, Craig. How's it going? Hey, I mostly fish freshwater on the island and venturing into salt. Any tips for fishing seamlessly or fishing seemingly featureless rocky shores common to the sound? Yeah. Look for points. So if you look, there's places like Rocky Point up on the North Shore and other places like that. Like up on near Orient. It's usually points where there's these like very large coves or whatnot, or it could be straight for a long time. And it's like very slight curves or just really straight beaches on the South Shore. And then you'll see these little points and stuff like that. You can look for those. Look for rock piles and large rocks and things like that. Clusters of rocks. And I'd be throwing deceivers and flies around those because fish will sit around the rocks because current comes sideways down the beach. The fish will sit on one side of the rock. And it's a lot of nighttime fishing on the North Shore. All the serious people that I know that fish the North Shore, the South Shore, I'm sorry. Like the North Shore, the Sound. I'm getting all flustered. The Sound is on the North Shore, yes. The South Shore is the Atlantic. On the North Shore, a lot of people fish at night is where they really do good, so. Hey, Laginator. Have a nice night. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. So, because I've done a lot of fishing on the Sound, but it's usually in the fall, and you're most of the time set up. There's always going to be albies. There's always going to be bass, because you're usually set up on a point, or you're set up in Truman somewhere, right? But when it comes to, like, summertime fishing and stuff, it's probably structure, for those big boulders, the points, any coves, things like that, because you get these mini coves if you start, going up and around, walking up and down the North Shore. But it's a lot of boulders, like you get these giant boulders and stuff, so. And if there's not much, you could just set up and blind cast and work your way down the beach. So what you do is you start off with a cast straight out, Thank you, Lagner. Have a great weekend as well. Appreciate it. You cast straight out, then you cast to the left, then you cast to the right. You take a step to the right, 10 feet. You cast straight out, left, right, and you keep just doing that down the entire beach. Because there might be a depression, somewhere might be this, or you're just blind casting looking for fish that are moving down the beach. So, yeah. It's a little bit easier on the south shore, fishing the bays and stuff. You know what I mean? Fishing little inlets, outlets, fishing drop-offs, channels, right? On when you're fishing the sound, it's definitely probably like rips. You're looking for rips, like moving water and structure, just like anything else. But we have sandy bottom on the south shore, you know. What's going on, Outlaw? How you doing? Yeah, if you look for rips and structure and moving water in general in saltwater fly fishing, you're gonna be starting off in a good path, you know. I picked up Rich Murphy's Fly Fishing for Striped Bass and working my way through it. Yeah, there's some great books. He's a cool dude. Um, if I'm not wrong, is he the guy that also does tuna fishing on the fly offshore from like out west? I think he's like a guide, right? I'm pretty certain I met the guy before. I think that's who I'm thinking about. Mostly freshwater here. Nice, very cool. What do you fish for, Outlaw? At night, stripers push bait in the coves. Yeah, it's also that striped bass they're predatory fish, so they feed during the day, but at night their senses are just 10 times better. You know what I mean? And oh, he's from Mass. Okay, it might be somebody that I'm thinking of. It's another dude with Murphy, but I remember hearing the name Rich Murphy. Um, at nighttime, what happens is when the light changes from day to night, bait fish get confused. It's the change of the light. So what striped bass do is they take advantage of that. They also have very good eyesight at night, and they're just predatory game fish. So there's multiple. You get shrimp that come out, other bait fish and whatnot. They'll cruise along the shores. They'll go, what do you call it, up into the flats. They'll be fishing in the surf or whatever. They just become very active at night. So they have an advantage at night when it comes to feeding on bait, probably just due to their senses in general. But striped bass love feeding during the day, but all the people that seriously fish for big bass, they fish at night generally. Yeah, you can fish around lights and stuff. It's really what it is, the light lines. Like you're fishing around bridges and there's a line where it goes from light to dark. We have that on our bridges around here because there's big, very bright lights on the bridges, right? And it casts a shadow line where it goes from like underneath the bridge is like pitch black almost, and then there's the shadow line. So you'll sit out in the shadow line, you'll cast up with the fly, and this is from a boat, right? So you can fish from underneath the bridge, waiting. You cast out into the light and then strip it into the shadow line. I used to fish plugs like that. But with my boat, we sit in the light line, cast into the shadow line, and drift the fly naturally with the incoming tide, just as the bait would naturally drift. And the fish sit in the lights and wait for or sit in the darkness. Like they do all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. They sit in these light lines on the bridges. So you can actually walk on the bridge at night and you can see the fish sitting in the current like a trout, like swimming on the surface. Or like right onto the surface, and they're eating like anchovies, silver sides that are getting sucked in with the tide. They could barely swim against the tide. They're kind of just going with it. It's pretty cool. All right, let's finish this up because I'm going to eat some food after this. We've been streaming for a while. I'm getting hungry. All right, got my blue flash. Oh, well, we got to add some flash real quick. My bad. I have this polar flash. We've been using it. I love it. We're going to keep using it because I have it. And I never use it enough, so I'm giving myself a reason to. Man, I've been putting it off. I got to start studying. I got to practice modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been meaning. I want to go back to the card shop and play because I have a branded fusion deck, and I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! After like being a kid, and I was like, wow, this game is nothing like what it was. And it's actually really good. It's like a very competitive card game that's like super big brain, 500 IQ fucking plays. But I have to like remember how to play my deck, let alone the game. So I've been like putting off going into the simulator and doing it, but I need to do it at some point. think like next Saturday I'm gonna try and go out there. It's like a 40-something minute drive, but I'm gonna go play the locals on the weekend. Let's wrap our body braid here, or our Staz. But I like upgraded. I got the deck, got into it, built my deck. I was loving it, and then upgraded it, and then never went back because I was so busy with commercial shellfishing. I just put that in there because I was just thinking about it in my head, like, man, I really should practice. I'm gonna go there and have no idea what I'm doing one of these days. All right, let's get some hackle on here. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any. I want to show you the whiting rooster is so nice, but I don't think I have any left that's this large. So we'll use this quote-unquote deceiver hackle, which I think is Ewing deceiver hackle, which we were talking about earlier. I'm pretty certain this is a patch of it. I was fishing, I was fly fishing around a pier and jetty at Cedar Beach and didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, so, yeah, it's tough. One of the best things to do is look for, like, outlets or inlets. Look for, like, channels and stuff where, like, the bay dumps out somewhere, or like a creek dumps out into the bay if you're looking for like fishing in bays on the North Shore. Look for stuff like that in estuaries, and look for moving water channels, but really look for like channels and outflows and fish those on like peak tides or something like that. And yeah, from the North Shore, I'm trying to think from all my experience because I only really fished the North Shore during the fall run, and that's when there's just tons of fish around. If I was gonna do it, and I just pulled up, I'm thinking of like one of the random beaches that I used to fish. It's really just like a long stretch of rocky shore with not a lot of like structure in the water. It's just like every once in a while you get boulders and stuff. I would probably go fish. I would look on Google Maps, look for one of the spots near you. Like I said, look for outlets or inlets where the bay dumps out. And I would go fish those to start, right? Next thing I would look, if you're fishing specifically on like the main beaches, like on the North Shore, look for any like prominent points like I was talking about earlier, because those things are going to stick out. Those are going to generally have a lot of current running off. You might have like bars and stuff. But for the bay, like I said, looking for those inlets and outlets. And then I'm trying to think like where's some spots up there. If you're fishing the Peconic, I mean, you have a lot of options. It sucks this time of year. It's really like when it's colder and stuff, but there are some spots. Like you can just look on Google Maps again and look for like points and stuff, like sandy points that stick out and stuff like that, because there's some pretty strong rips. And I would go like really early in the morning, like before, like at sunrise or maybe at like sunset, and fish poppers or something like that. Is what I would try to do this time of year. But it's tough. The North Shore, especially like if you're fishing Peconic this time of year, it's really tough because the water's just so hot. It's more of like a springtime thing is when it's much better. But the Sound, there should be pretty big bass up there. So you're just gonna have to go explore and probably do a lot of some nighttime fishing. You can catch them during the day too, but I think just in general, fly fishing from shore, it's more of a nighttime game this time of year. That are like really early in the morning, you know? Because unless you're fishing like very clear water, like flats and stuff, a lot of times the fish, when the water temps get too high during the day in like in parts of the bay where it's not close to the inlet or something, even the Sound, I don't know what the temps are in the Sound, but I think it was like 71 today in the bay where we are. The water gets pretty hot and the fish move out to deeper water and stuff. It could be hard to catch them. But then again, because I'm saying all this stuff, you could be out there in 80-degree water and you could catch a 20-pound fish in shallow water. Like, you really do never know, so it's worth it just to go out and explore. So, you know, I'm saying that I've caught fish middle of the day, low tide, right by my house here. For people that know, they know this spot. In terms of it's just like way back in the bay with a creek, it's like not very clean water this time of year. I've caught fish during the summer, peak low tide, when it's just like ultra hot, this, that. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, was not expecting like a decent sized striped bass to be back there. So they do go back and feed in like middle of the day in summertime. But if you're seriously trying to target some fish, like fishing at the change of light or something, or at night, or earlier in the morning, like the first couple hours, because sometimes this time of year you'll be fishing sunrise, there'll be fish around, and then within 10 to 15 minutes of the sun coming up, they all go down. It just happens. There are other times where they'll feed like 2-3 hours into the day, or they'll just be in the middle of the day. There'll be a bite going on, you know. But a lot of times with striped bass, when there's a really good bite going on in the morning and stuff, you show up like 5 minutes late because you slept in a little bit. You know what I mean? And they're gone. So they were like, dude, you missed it. Like I show up to the Albie thing, they were like, a school bass came through, it was sick. The sun came up, and they were gone in like 5 minutes. I'm like, damn, man, missed it. Yeah, another great book, Inshore Fly Fishing by Lou Tabery. It's an older book, but it's a very good read for when it comes to reading shorelines and fishing stuff. And he talks about rocky shorelines. Another great author, by the way, Craig, is Ed Mitchell. It's Ed, Edmitchell, or whatever, however you spell Mitchell. And he's a great, he's got some great books on fly fishing, like the Northeast or something like that, or inshore fly fishing. And he's from Connecticut, so he fishes the Sound. So he's got some great information as well about reading shorelines and like fishing rocks and like, you know, this and that. So that's another great author that I recommend, Ed Mitchell. Ed Mitchell, Lou Tabery. They have some very good books about fly fishing for striped bass. Particularly that's relevant to, like, you know, the waters that we fish. They're not from Long Island, but it's relevant enough. Because it pertains to all stuff, you know what I mean? It's not that different from Rhode Island or this or that, you know. Or even fishing the South Shore or whatever, but it's about finding, like, you know, the areas that the fish are going to be at, right? Obviously, which makes sense. It's pretty relevant, but but like finding structure and stuff like that. Yeah, I got my collection behind me. It's not even all of them. I just took out the most relevant ones that I figured would be cool for that I don't want them, you know, that I want up here, but I also figured for the stream, so I could go through them one day. I think we went through them one day, but we'll do it again. There's some very good stuff that if you weren't into this stuff in the 90s and the early 2000s, when fly fishing really popped off for the first time, I think it was A River Runs Through It came out with Brad Pitt, right? And that movie like blew up fly fishing for trout fishing, but it just brought like a light to fly fishing in general. Like more people learned more about fly fishing just in a day. So I think that was one of the things. And then you saw like Orvis Jeeps, or LL Bean collector Jeeps, like those things edition, Eddie Bauer Orvises or whatever, Eddie Bauer Fords. Fly fishing was like really big in the late 90s, early 2000s, or mid 2000s. So there was a lot of books, magazines, like Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine and Fly Fishing in Saltwater Magazine, two different magazines, were so good. Oh my God, they were some of the best magazines, like best magazine subscription service I ever did. I'll never forget. Randomly just then got like a Inshore Fisherman magazine, and I'm like, what is this bull crap? And it's like showing me Shimano reels. I'm like, what happened to my fly fishing magazine? And they just went out of business, but I never knew. It just like they just sent me a different magazine. I had to look it up. This was like early days of the internet or whatever, like mid 2000s, you know. Not early days, but you know, it was like what, I don't know what Windows that was at the time. Now I haven't looked at Joe's book yet. You know, I met him. He's a nice guy. He's an amazing fly tyer, but I'm sure it's a great book. Sure, it's a cool book. But I do love my Kenny Abrams, my the OG Flatwing guy. I do love my Kenny Abrams books, but I'll have to check out Joe's book sometime. And I never know how to say his last name, Cordero or something, Cordero. Grab one more. Do we? Yeah, I'll just grab a new one. I don't have a tag end here. A picture of a dogfish you caught on a flatwing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of dogfish right now that people are catching on fluke flies. I mean, not fluke flies, on fluke baits. You know, just like bucktails and stuff. And we were talking to one of our buddies when we were leaving the clamming ground. He was out there fluke fishing in his boat, and they were literally right in front. They were catching small dogfish, but you catch them quite often in the bay when you're fluke fishing. But like, there's a insane amount of dogfish right now, like juvenile dogfish. It's pretty nuts. They must have all just like hatched or like got to adolescent size to where they're feeding now or something. They're pretty cool. Yo, Drew, what's up? Pretty good. I should check it out. I'll have to check it out sometime then. I'll have to check it out. Well, you guys have been mentioned. I know Jin as well, so I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Other than Kenny Abrams, my other favorite when it comes to that sort of style of tying is Joe Bondaro, which him as well. I never know how to pronounce the last name. Is it Bondaro or Bondaro or? But Stripers and Streamers. Oh my God. Probably one of my favorite books. Trying to see if it's there. It is there. That's a great pickup in paperback. Stripers and Streamers. Whoo, baby. It's a very different style of fishing than traditional fly fishing. Fishing with floating lines and swinging flies. It's so cool. It like completely changed how I thought about fly fishing when I read Abrams and Bondaro's book. Bondros or I don't know. I'm terrible with. It's funny too because my last name is Turkish and it's been mispronounced by everybody my entire life, all my teachers and stuff. If a teacher pronounced my name right, I was like, I always gave him credit. I was like, damn, you're good. And I can never pronounce exotic last names, and I have an exotic last name, so you gotta love it. They would always, my name used to get butchered so bad. I used to always laugh when I would like start a new class in like college or whatever or something. Like, how do you say your name? Is it? All right. See, it's much nicer when you use water, right? You can get that beautiful head on these hot glue heads. It helps just to have a little bit of water and you just kind of mold it real quick. You don't want to like hold it on there too long. You know what I mean? So that's the albiho right there. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, I think it's about time. Let me figure out how I do this. Yeah, thank you, Craig. I tie them commercially, so I've tied quite a lot of them. I've probably tied well over 1,000 albihos in my days. And these are using kind of optimal stuff. I usually get them looking really nice when I get in the groove and I'm tying them like, I'm doing a whole order of them or whatever. I try to get them pretty consistent. It took me a while though. There's a reason why people charge good money. There's not many people that tie albi whores commercially. There's a reason why we get good money for them because it took me a while to like learn how to like actually tie with the hot glue gun and figure out how to tie them commercially. You know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know why I use the word exotic. I'm trying to think of like maybe a tough name to say, but it sounds cool. Like I have an exotic last name. It also makes me sound like a douche, right? Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm figuring something out. Don't go nowhere. Don't forget we have our, if you're a subscriber, exclamation mark, subscriber on Twitch, paid subscriber, exclamation mark play in the chat, get into the marble race. I'm setting up for you folks on YouTube something in the chat. So I'm gonna figure this out. So don't go anywhere. But all you folks on Twitch, exclamation mark play for our subscriber giveaway. For the folks on here. keyword. I think this should work. Regulars, channel members, users. All right. Oh wait, there are no what? There are no eligible. How do I do this? Oh, do I go like this? How do I figure this out? Damn it, why can't I do it? There are no eligible. What does that mean? I'm trying to do this via Nightbot. What does that mean? There's no eligible users. Users? Search users? What do you mean search users? Why do I gotta do that? Well, I've never done a giveaway via Nightbot. I've always done it like this. Give me 1 second. If not, then I'll, I'm sure there's a way we could do it. Oh, wait, is it not in the channel? Oh, okay. Ensure that you have modded Nightbot. Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I set up Nightbot for YouTube, but I don't think I have it in my thing. Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta go to my community settings. Hold on. We're setting this up. This is our first time doing a Nightbot version. So get uno momento. It's worth the wait for you folks on the tube. Wake up, Jerry. Moderators. Ah, here we go. Yeah. Standard moderators? Managing. No. Yeah. No. It's like a million Nightbots, though. It'll only join streams that are live. Okay. Wake up, Jerry. Aha! I think this is working. Let's find out. No? Ah! Why do I need to mark eligible? I see Rev. Why do I need to mark eligible? Not yet, Tony. I'm trying to figure it out. Can I like it won't just Oh, okay. I see. I think I see. Users, channel members. Wait, reset eligibility. so nobody's eligible. Let me go regulars, channel members, users. I want to go keyword. Tube. This is the keyword people can enter in the chat to become eligible. No, okay. So no, that was, so I'm trying to figure out, it said Rev 1. No. I'm trying to figure out how do I do it. Oh, so maybe you guys just type tube? All right, so all the tubers type tube. And all you Twitchers type !play for the marble giveaway, marble race. We're about to do that. But all the tubers type tube. You know what I mean? I think that should do it. I could be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Joe just typed tube. Now he's eligible. That's right. And Rev as well. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to do our marble race. If you're a subscriber on Twitch, a paid subscriber, whether you've been gifted a sub or you have your sub, type !play. Even if you're not a sub, you can type !play in Twitch chat. And we're going to run our marble race. And then at the end of that, I will hit roll it. And it'll say in the tube chat. All right? So, that being said, let's get some marble music going. So, for all the tubers, you could type tube. All the Twitchers, !play. Get the marble race. Get in there. Because we're marble racing. That's right. Let me see. Does my effect work? That's right. Get on down. We're marble racing. Okay, that was not. I gotta I gotta set up the reverb or something. It's like, sounds like shit. Okay. All right, chat. You know the routine. The first subscriber marble in the pit, blue or pink or green, is going to be winning some flies. All right. Good luck. May the best marble racer win, and then we'll determine who is the truest of the tubers, the LI tubers, LI fly tubers. All right. We are approaching the roundabout. Oh, I realize we can't play music. Why was I playing music the whole time? Because I, hold on. I just realized right now, I'm just going to shut it off. Because I have my damn audio. I didn't even think about this. I'm sorry if the audio sounded weird, but I have noise suppression on. So the music probably sounded terrible. Luckily, I was doing commentary the whole time. All right, so we got Master Battle in the lead, looking for his triple win. Nope, it's not going to happen. You're banned. Sorry, but it's a valiant effort. AR Flyfisher, though, is looking to show off here. We got Choke and Stroke, Drew, Easy Rider as well. Now, again, the first purple, blue, or green marble landing in the pit is going to be winning some flies. What is that thing flying around there? What the hell's going on over there? Press B? No. I don't know what that means. Am I getting hacked? It's like a ghost. It's like a ghostly apparition following Master Battle. No. Press B. Oh, that's because we can follow the leader. That's what that is. Oh, thank you for the handy tip, map creator. Ah! No! What happened? Where are we? That's why you don't press B, alright? You never press B. That's what I get. So we got Master of the Battle still, Master Battle still in the lead. AR Flyfisher close behind. Brew, Gabe, Drew, Doc, Supra, Craggerroll, Choke and Stroke. Everybody making their way. If you can skim off just a millisecond or two here coming down the pasta funnel of doom, you're gonna be in pretty good shape. It looks like Master Battle's keeping the lead, but don't forget he won the follower giveaway, so he's just showing off at this point. AR, though, is looking for redemption. entered the marble race and then had to go in because he works in a hospital and is probably doing surgery or something like that or helping. So give it up to him. But look what he gets for saving people's lives. He hits the middle of the barricade, and Doc comes in doing 365 miles an hour on the left, super on the right. People are drifting, doing donuts. Oh my God! It's anybody's game at the end. It's Brew. Brew scooped it at the end. Woo-hoo-hoo! There were like 5 marbles there at the end. There were like 5 people at the end that were right at the end. It was Brew, AR, Drew, and who else? Look at that. Look at the timing on that. It's Brew, 234.0, 234.1, 234.3, 234.4 for Doc. That was a close one. GG's. Congratulations, Brew. That was a close one. He stole that one from AR though. You see what AR gets for saving people's lives? Loses the damn marble race. Unbelievable. Hopefully hopefully AR gets a laugh out of that joke when he finds out he lost. Congratulations, Brew. You know the deal. We'll get you some flies. Check the bonus column. Yeah, I'll check your damn bonus column. I like how you won both. Don't you even dare. Don't you even dare. All right. Now for all the tubers. I want to see all the tubers if you haven't typed tube. And we're going to pick it. All right. Now I'm using Nightbot. Now I will, if you do win, you do need to message me on Instagram, on Twitch, on Discord, whatever. You need to message me with a shipping address. All right. So that's on you. So make sure you do that if you do win and you're watching. All right. Trying to get out of this damn marble race so I can look at my dashboard. Okay. All right, tubers. Good luck. I'm gonna hit it on the count of 3. Ding. Congratulations to Joe F, channel member. Congratulations. There you go, Joe. You know the deal. Hit me up on Instagram or something. Shoot me a shipping address. I'm assuming you're still here because we just set this up not too long ago. But thank you very much. Joe, you took everything from me. Get fucked. Woo! Thank God. Thank God. How dare you, Master of Battle. Yeah, congratulations. All my work is paid off. That's right. By the way, I'm almost certain, didn't Rev give you a gift sub, right? So give a shout out to Rev. Not that it made a difference, but the swag of you being a channel member, what do you call it? I'm pretty certain, right? I don't think we have. I think the only reason I have any channel members is because of Rev gifting them. If somebody did pay for a membership, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure you got a gifted sub. But shout out to Rev for hooking you up there. Unbeknownst to me, I think he did. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference, but I like to think that it added some sort of fair advantage to you. There actually is the thing. I can do it to where channel members have a greater advantage. I did not. I left it up to Nightbot. So, yes. But thank you again, Rev, for the support. Tomorrow's Saturday. We could play some Warhammer, more than likely. I don't know if you're working, but I'm off. So, anyways, thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. Again, congratulations, Master of Battle, Brew, and Joe F. All right. We'll make sure to... Get me those shipping addresses. I know Brew and Master Battle are good because they've won multiple times. But Joe hit me up. And thank you so much for hanging out and watching some fly tying. I hope you enjoyed some Albie flies and some banter and some chit chat, as well as some marble races. And I hope you folks have an awesome weekend. Everybody watching on YouTube, on Twitch, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and tuning out and watching. We had almost like 8 to 10 people watching on YouTube almost half the time. Like 7 or 8 people. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And of course, all you folks on Twitch, as usual, the usual suspects. Thank you for hanging out and supporting the channel and watching the stream and whatnot, and any resubs as well. So, stretch. Yep. I'm gonna go stretching right now. But thank you, Dennis, for hanging out with us. Joe, Craig, appreciate that. Master Battle, Brew, again. You folks have an awesome weekend. All right, we're gonna be again. Our schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've been missing a lot of Mondays just because of work. How everything's been working out with clamming. Excuse me. But the schedule is pretty much like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll post it whether or not I end up, if I'm working or something, I can't make it. But we've been streaming at least like 2 to 3 times a week, fly tying here on YouTube and Twitch. So, and I'm gonna try and get some videos going. So I've been, at some point I got to set some time aside, if maybe this weekend. But I usually end up going and playing Warhammer, and I'm running role-playing game, doing all sorts of crap. So, but I do need to pump out a couple more videos at some point here. But thank you so much. You folks have an awesome weekend. Thanks again. Joe, hit me up on Instagram or whatever. And I'll see you folks later, all right? You take it easy. So have a great weekend and stay safe, all right? I'll see you guys on Monday, all right? Peace.